February 27th, 2020 Planning Board meeting. First item on the agenda, which I've lost already, is you, I know that. Conceptual discussion, James Michelle Morley, 152 Dearborn Road, Mount Dearborn Road. Ah, yeah, right there. Well, I don't know what this Mr. Francisco guy told you last time you were here, but let's try that again.
Okay. Well,
I saw that.
essentially, we just want to put a farm store in the lower level of our barn. It'll be about just under 300 square feet. The door is already there. All our freezers are already there because that's where we store our meats and everything for the farmer's market. So basically, we just want to be able to put a sign out by the road and a small sign above the door, and we're gonna put a partition wall, kind of a temporary wall, to separate that area of the barn from the rest of the lower level.
And you're gonna sell your own products only?
Yes.
Only?
Well, I for the most part, I mean, some things we might, like my neighbor might wanna add some stuff, but
No.
the majority would be our, we do
What's
lamb,
the-
pork,
What's the requirement?
chicken, eggs, turkey, and I also make soaps.
What's the requirement, that, Bruce, 35%?
Yeah,
More than 35% is gonna be your stuff?
Absolutely. Probably like 95%.
Yeah.
And then the hours, we had put in that we would be from like 6 a.m. to like 9 p.m., but we won't do that. We just wanted to leave flexibility so that we can adjust our hours on an as-needed basis. But I don't intend to be open that much. We also, I have the one to put the sign on at the road, which is basically, it's like 2 by 3. It might not look exactly like this, but this is just a conceptually, just so it would have the farm name, our telephone number,
Your sign is
email, and
prob-
then,
Your sign is probably too big. I don't know what you're allowed offhand.
yeah, I thought it was, originally I thought it was 2 by,
74.
it was like 6 square feet, but then Dan Higginson seemed to think it was bigger. But we can scale it down to whatever it's allowed. You just tell me what the size is, and I'll make sure it's within the range. Again, I just wanted to show, just conceptually,
The section
But if
says, 341012, one sign to contain no more than 2 surfaces, and each surface to contain no more than 6 square feet.
okay,
2 by
that's what I
3,
thought.
Shall be allowed on any lot for each
3 by 3.
independently owned business. If freestanding, which this sign is, the height of such signs shall not exceed 6 feet from the center line elevation of the road to the top of the sign.
Okay,
The way you had the sign, it showed
this
some
is like
hanging.
probably like 4 feet. So,
I think it may be too low, I don't know what the size is, but
Yeah.
you have,
Either way, including the little,
including those little hanging
oh,
things.
so you have to
Yeah.
include
Oh,
those in
yes.
the size, okay. Which I actually think I did when I calculated it, but,
either way.
okay.
It's basically,
It's gotta
a-
meet the zoning ordinance.
yeah, it's basically a 2 by 3 sign.
Okay.
The post can be outside of it.
Yes, the posts aren't part of the sign.
Okay. And then we also wanted the small sign above the door to the sign. Is that also included in that square footage or
on the building?
on the building?
Yeah, no, that's a separate sign.
sign.
It's a separate sign. Okay.
Where is that allowed?
I thought it was on there somewhere.
That wasn't clear.
Do you call it a nameplate or incidental?
What would that sign say?
Just
Store?
farm store.
Arrow.
Or store entrance, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not an advertising sign, it's more like a directional sign.
Yes,
Well, wait a
exactly.
second. Would that sign be visible from the road?
Probably not, just because of the lower level.
If it's not visible from the road, it's not a sign.
Okay. All right. It would just be visible once you pull in.
Right, it's basically a
A direction
directional
sign.
thing. Read the definition of a sign.
Yeah, I remember it had to be. Sounds like that old song, signs, everywhere signs.
The, I did some poking around, and I found an RSA that kind of applies to situations like this. Chapter 21. And it defines what a farm is, what accessory uses to a farm are, and the roadside stand is considered part of the farm. And the RSA says that roadside stands attached to a farm shall not be considered a commercial use.
That's what I had thought, and when I was here last year, I thought they're
As long as less than,
allowed.
as long as you're producing, and more than 35% of what you sell is produced by you on the farm.
It's no problem. Yeah, even the soaps I make are with the goat milk that, for my goats, so.
Signs, any permanent or temporary display visible from public ways or public property, etc.
Okay.
So as long as, I suppose you could see the sign from the road, as long as you can't read it from the road, then it's not a sign and you can do whatever you want.
Okay.
So she doesn't even need,
That's what I was gonna say, so.
That's the conclusion we're coming to.
That's, yes,
Yeah.
Yeah,
have a good time.
that's what I thought last year, but
have a
then
good
they
time.
said I had to do a site plan, so,
Like I said, I
Which I did.
apologize to that previous chairman from last year, he,
yeah.
remember, when she was here last year, there were two things. It was a
yes,
combined
there was the
thing,
wedding thing also.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
and that's not involved in this.
Not in this, no. If I do pursue that, it would be a separate matter.
Okay.
It's across the street, separate property too, so it should be a separate matter. Okay.
Have a good time,
That's it.
good luck.
Thank you. All right.
Michelle? Michelle? We pay you to come here.
To finish.
That's her. Yeah.
There's the land surveying, so we don't need this one.
No, it's the same thing.
It's all the same. That's all for storage.
But she doesn't need a phone.
The plan is
Yeah.
Second item on the agenda is a continuation of the site plan for Alpha Storage, Alpha Self Storage on 407 North Star Highway, map 201, lot 14-1 in the commercial zone. We got maps. This is,
But I don't have one in the packet.
big map.
mark up one if you need it.
Let's get the plan that matters.
Has this been changed? Thank you.
I'll go over some of it, not every, not. Matt Peterson with Keach Nordstrom Associates here.
Not per this.
Not per their Meridian comments I received 2 days ago, no. Sorry. You all set?
Yes,
All
sir.
right. As you know, Matt Peterson with Keach Nordstrom, here representing the owner for this development. At the last hearing, the board had brought up some concerns and some questions on the site. The abutter had brought up some concerns about the project. We had scheduled that site walk. We walked the site walk, got a lot of good input from board members at that there, from the abutters. We've made corrections to the plan based on that site walk and based on input from the planning board. So if you turn to sheet 2 of 8, kind of where most of the changes have been made at this point. Plan that you see up here, I kind of highlighted as stated before. Kelly, she likes to highlight it.
Because we don't
First-
have a colored printer.
The first thing we did
Buy it.
was we took the fencing. Ooh, it's windy. Took the fencing around the outside of the detention basin, around the outside of the swale, brought it up along the front, tied it into where the office would be. We brought it off the building there, brought it down, and brought it back around to the building. So we have a completely contained site now with fencing around the whole thing. 6 feet, we agreed to black The plan says green, but that's one of the changes that we're gonna make on the detail that with the final plan set.
Black means
Black chain
plastic.
link, yes. So that it kind of disappears into the green and the black is nice at that. They both kind of can disappear a little bit with it. The second thing we did is up in the corner here. We added the 9 arborvitaes. That was based on our site walk there, and we looked for some screening up in that location there. So we put those up on that. The next thing we did next to that, we showed an area for any of the boulders that we have in our site that could be located there to deter people from pulling into the private property and onto their land there. That was something that was discussed at the site walk. The next thing we did is we put together a blurb here and notes on the plan regarding the berm. We proposed the notes at the bottom here, which is note number 32. The owner shall construct a 4 to 6 foot high berm using any excess cut material on site and install a row of up to 5 evergreen shrubs to act as a visual buffer between the 2 lots. We also had just put together, and you guys can relay this to the abutters a little bit. I feel that on the plan here is probably their safest and most accurate spot that they can go back to if the owner doesn't do it. Comes to the planning board, why didn't you address the note? Kind of go from there. But the second thing that we did was we also put together a little landscape berm agreement that they were both to sign and kind of to make sure that something gets done at that location there.
That's not our problem. That's
What's that?
between you guys.
That's what I figured. I just wanted to let you know that we were trying to address everything on that. We met out there last Friday again and made it clear that once construction starts, to work with Kevin on, making sure we don't just put 5 evergreens where we want to, but that actually are screening for them there. The next thing we did is we added a culvert across, and that's actually on the next sheet, which is sheet 3. We had the culvert down there for them on that path that we talked about. And then back on sheet 2, it says,
I noticed that. I think.
note number 33, the contractor shall install an equalization drain pipe under the existing cart path to prevent washout from the proposed site drainage. The next sheet, sheet 3, it was brought to our attention by the board members last time. We had a pretty substantial retaining wall down there. We had a boulder retaining wall. What we did is we decided to take it off the corner of the building here and move it up the slope. We proposed a Ready Rock retaining wall right there. The height of it is about 6. It gets to, I think, 7.5 in one spot, but very minor compared to what we had. I think we had a 12 to 14 last time that we were here. So I believe that that's a much cleaner look in that back corner there now and doesn't cause a lot of issues constructing something like that.
Sorry, I thought I had it off.
And there is a detail on the sheet with a Ready Rock wall that's located there. The last plan item that we had added was on sheet 4. Sorry, no. You go to sheet 5, my bad. You asked about the light, the sensors, and the 2 notes, note number 3 and note number 4. State that these lights will have 2 sets of sensors on them, one to turn them on when somebody comes in, another one to shut it off after 15 minutes when there's no movement. So that we can keep this, again, what we talked about on the site walks is not trying to have this lit up to the world and stuff like that.
That's each light?
All the lights,
Each light individually operates.
each one of these, yep, will have their own sensors and that.
So as one
Just goes
walks
on
through the
when you're in there.
property,
Yeah, they
the
would
lights are
follow
going to
them as
pop
they
on
went. Yep,
and pop off behind him.
yep.
Doesn't light up like the airport all at once.
Like the runway.
Yeah.
That is the amount of changes to the plans we made from last time from the site walk. As you know, we got the Meridian comments. I guess, I just noticed they say February 3rd. That's not when I got them. I got them yesterday. Well, now the other sheet says February 8th. You get them like the 20th or so, so no big deal. I mean, I'm not worried about it. But the one thing I wanted to point out on there, They talk on page 2, if you guys have a copy of those there. They go through the site plan review regulations. I believe that we've met these requirements. However, based on what they're saying here, I would petition the board for a waiver request on those, and I'll walk through why. And here's the waiver request. If you look at the plat requirements for E, it's all abutting landowners, man-made features, scenic, historic, or cultural resources listed in the Ware Master Plan, and uses of abutting land all within 100 feet of the site. I feel that this applicant has done that to give the board the ability to see what is out there and to make a judgment on this application. I could probably pick up a little more of the animal stock on this side here or on the north side there. You know, our surveyors went out, they had done this the original time with the original one there. We've come back and done this. If the board members feel that we need to collect more information because there's not enough to make a determination, I can obviously send surveyors out there, but that to me seemed a little bit much. Sketch of the site, the next one is F that he brings up, sketch of the site showing boundaries, existing natural features,
Matt,
including,
let's deal with this first.
that is this, what's that?
Deal with the waiver first.
This is the waiver. This is what I'm asking
Oh,
for.
you're still going about the waiver.
Yes. So my waiver is for the items under the.
Oh, okay.
I just did it because the plat requirements are all kind of one section B. He goes through and asks for E, F, G, J, and N. So I asked for a waiver of those 5. So F is a sketch of the site showing boundaries, existing natural features, including water courses, water boundaries, trees, and other vegetation, and all other features which should be considered in the site design process. I feel like I did that. Again, you know, is the reviews, they kind of just put it to the planning board so you guys can see if you feel we didn't, that's fine. G is the shape, size, height, location, and use of existing and proposed structures located on the site, and those within 100 feet of the site. I guess the only thing I probably don't show on 100 feet of the site is the the car dealership or car yard that's next to it here. I think we all know what's at the entrance when you come into the site here. Was that wrong statement? J is location of existing and proposed sidewalks, driveway and curb cuts, site distance, access points, drainage changes to the existing street. We got an updated DOT permit. Again, we showed things out on the street. I've showed most of the curb cuts that I think are in that location there on 114. I'm not sure if he went out and thought there was more. And then the only other one is N, the location and type of the existing proposed waste disposal system, location of test pits, and record of percolation test. We showed the 4K area on this. We put notes that this is not going to be manned. That is not required by the state health boards to have a bathroom or to have that if I do not have employees. So we had put notes on the plan to that effect. Again, I think these were pretty minor, but those were the ones that he brought up. Everything else on his list here, we don't have a problem taking care of.
What about the porta potty issue that they raised?
That was a good one. That was one I'd bring up to you guys. I don't have a way either way on that. If you guys think it's reasonable to people it's a porta pot out there, that's not something I'm gonna sit here and argue with you. But that's a good point. I meant to bring that up. I forgot that one.
Does the applicant want to put a porta potty out there?
For what? For construction purposes? or-
No.
For,
One of the comments was during,
No, we don't.
So,
personally, I wouldn't want to.
I don't
I mean,
want to.
so what happens to
safety
the
store
folks
doesn't-
who come to use access their storage areas, and they're there for an hour or two putting stuff in, or taking stuff out, or doing whatever, and they need to go to the bathroom?
Under subway.
I mean,
I don't know of any self-storage buildings that have bathrooms that have them.
yeah, it's,
I know Safeway Store doesn't have it.
No, I don't know, I don't think of one in town that does.
I've been out there long enough.
I don't think that's within our authority to do that. It's not gonna be,
There's no water there.
no water.
There's no work to be done. I mean,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
need a
if
porta potty during
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 construction.
construction,
You have water in the
you
office?
have to have it,
there's
but
no there is
No.
water in the office, but there's no sewer, so. and
No, there's-
That's historically from the previous owner. not in the office, actually.
No, it's not in the office. That's what I'm saying.
They have a well, though.
We have a well on site. We do not have water to the office. We have a well that
There's no
we're
sink.
keeping
and
that.
There's
Right.
no sink.
There's none of that, because as soon as that goes in, that's what we talked about last time with the house.
Then you gotta do
As
something
soon
with
as
water.
that goes in, I gotta have a place for that water to drain out
Exactly.
into a septic system.
Okay. I don't see a problem with
If they have a porta potty there as if
Is
they
there a
have
problem with
construction.
this?
And that's,
Want the
if there's
waiver
construction,
to-
then you gotta provide one.
During
for them.
construction, they'll
For
be
them,
allowed,
but
yes.
other than that, yeah, no.
They have to.
I don't know of any self-storage building that has that unless they have a manned
Picture
office
of the
with
existing,
employees.
is he asking for a
He
waiver
showed,
for
he
this?
showed, he gave us pictures of the existing buildings. With the original
And also the
application.
proposed.
He said they're gonna look the same.
He did give us pictures.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, they were part
Yeah,
of the
we did that
application.
last
Yeah.
time, right.
not an issue.
And everything.
You can see the waiver.
Here's an aerial that kind of shows, I mean, if there's anything that we missed.
Was this taken by plane or drone?
That is Google Earth,
Satellite.
yeah.
Got satellite photo.
What's that?
Some daisy.
Google Earth, Google
Where's
Map.
the cistern going?
So, yeah, he doesn't know this one yet. I'm sitting down, I sat down with the fire chief yesterday. We're gonna go in front of the board on March 9th. Anything that you guys, if you were so to conditionally approve it, I have to have sign off from the fire department. What was discussed with the fire department yesterday is a location up in here. That's what he was happy with that location there. We've talking about what size and stuff like that, and he didn't know exactly what each build. So the size of it is based on what each structure is, if it's a wood structure, a metal structure, the square footage, the height of it. So we had to sit down and go through the numbers, so.
And the contents?
The what?
The contents of the building?
It's impossible to
Yes.
gauge what the
Yeah.
contents
Yeah,
are.
I mean, they.
We got, Kelly got an
They go through the
email.
NFPA, and it's, yes, if there's life safety and that type of stuff. We don't have any people, so there's not, that doesn't trigger the next level of it, because there are no people there. So you do look at it as far as the people and that stuff,
But
but
it's-
not, this stuff can't have it, we can't have any hazardous material, that's all in the criteria and stuff like that anyway.
We got an email, hang on, from, Kelly got an email from Chief Azina.
Yeah.
Was forwarded to me, saying he met with you, you're gonna go to the fire boards March 9th. They discussed the size and location of cistern, whatever. Understand, then he goes on to say, Mr. Peterson left with the understanding that required cistern would have a capacity between 20,000 and 30,000 gallons. Then he gives the methodology used, which comes out to almost 24,870 gallons. So that's what I know.
Yep, that's what I know. The only thing is, again, this happened yesterday. We're gonna go sit down with this board here. There may be options to sprinkler the building instead of a cistern. There's a couple we have to address the fire department, and that's what I'm here tonight to say. We will have a sign off from him. It's one way or the other.
So you're thinking about putting a cistern underneath the shrubs? Underneath the
No, I'd like to put
arborvitae?
it under the driveway there and have the, I saw the extensions we thought would come up near the shrubs, before the shrubs, yeah.
Why not put it on the other side of the driveway?
That's where those trees were, that we walked on that sidewalk.
The office is proposed, right?
Yes.
Let's put it under the office.
Put it under the office?
Yeah. Make it the foundation.
Sit on top of it.
That's an interesting,
Won't get run over that way.
wow. Have you seen that?
Yeah, they do it in commercial plazas all the time. Cisterns underneath the buildings.
Yeah, I mean, the location there would work out perfect for him if that, and actually would be a cost savings to be able to use the foundation and stuff like that in a way, yeah. Take a look at that.
And if he ever gives it up as a cistern, it's a nice swimming pool,
Indoor.
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 I was thinking just, I don't know which way.
Protected that way.
I was thinking just east of the, south of the driveway and east of those, whatever these trees are. Red maples and hydrangea.
That's a good idea, under the building, cost savings, like you said, commercial buildings. they
Is
do
the
little
town
strip malls
gonna
and
have an
stuff.
easement to that cistern?
I mean, obviously, whatever the fire department typically has to them, there's probably a blanket in the state of something that a fire department, they'll have access to it, yes, he's gonna make sure he has access to it. It
Well,
means
it
I have
should,
to give
it
a
should be
blank
very
easement
easy
to
for you to figure that out, because somebody else from your office did the same thing on Whitetail Commercial Development, where they put a cistern on private property and gave the town an easement to it, so it should be pretty easy for you to find that document.
Same as Portland. Portland has
It's a gated, it's
Same
gonna
company,
be a
same,
gated facility, so obviously.
walk down the
they'll-
hall,
on
you
vacation.
walk down the hall,
Walk
yeah,
right in.
Yeah.
he'll be back, right?
Maybe.
I
don't
understand
mind.
that. I don't blame him then. My other concern is how is the cistern gonna fit in with everything else? Where's it gonna be? That's one of my concerns. My other concern that I saw right off the bat was
That's gonna be-
Meridian mentioned in their letter, I believe, wherever we put their letter. Harriet?
I don't have it. I didn't, and I
Lost
didn't
it.
print one out.
Who's this here?
That's all I got.
There it is. Note number 27 says your impervious area is 108,302 feet.
Which note?
Note number 27, I'm sorry.
Oh, note 6, you're saying? There's only 1 through 9. Oh,
Page-
notes on my
page 2.
plan. Oh, yeah.
Page 2,
Yep.
your plan. Total impervious coverage, total impervious area after build out is 108,000 square feet. And somewhere in here,
The note says it's 79,239. Note 19.
27. On sheet 2.
Sheet 2 of 8 dated,
The one-
Right, yep. That's impervious, yep.
Yes.
Correct.
what's his total?
And somewhere on here, they say something about it looked like you needed a
Right,
alteration
so-
terrain permit.
Right, so we had put 79,239 square feet on the plan. We had missed incorporating this area up in here in the total square footage, so the number is 97,000, about 97,182, okay? Is what I've got lines and paperwork that can go right to them. I made sure this morning when I went and sat down with Peter here. The 108 that you're talking about is the
Right.
pavement that's there, and we went back to the Google Earth photos there, and as you know, this was built in 2001. So I do not have to take into fact this here because of the 10-year window. So I'm under the 100,000. I have the poly lines. Like I said, everything else in this letter I can have him sign off on. I don't need anything else from that.
Could you explain that 10-year window?
So if you want to get away from alteration terrain permit at the state DES, you could try and circumvent it by, say, building half your project now, and it's under the 100,000 square foot, and then in 3 years come back with another 2 or 3 acres and develop that. But what the state says, if it's been longer than 10 years, that's long enough. I mean, it's probably changed hands, it's done this type of stuff like that. So you don't have to incorporate this in the overall number to get to that 100,000 square feet. I only have to include all my work that I'm doing now currently being done. But because it's over 10 years that stuff was on the ground, I don't have to include that in the number to go over the 100,000.
But if it had been 9 years or 8 years.
I would have had to include it.
And then AOC would have, alteration, AOT would have been
AOC,
required.
AOT.
See something else?
Come on now, watch that there. I like that. That was a Freudian slip.
We knew what you meant. So you're 99,500.
97.
97. Oh, I thought you said 99.
No, 97,100.
I was gonna say, does that include your boulders and things, but you're only talking, you're talking 3,000 square feet almost, so. That was the main thing that stuck out to me when I read the reading letter. What's this about the most spot grade at the easterly most parking space?
I honestly haven't looked at that yet, but I was told that I had no problem with it. It's already fixed.
Well, let's look at it.
Where was it?
Oh, yeah.
Page. I think it's somewhere.
Now I lost the note that I was reading about.
You wanna show me where it is?
This corner right here. So that's why it was just a little too low, so we had a
Yeah.
2% slope or something in there.
Oh, I see.
I think it's fixed on these plans.
Yeah, I see that.
He's got a number on there, it's not on here.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I would say that was a text edit.
I didn't see anything on here that is earth shattering other than that.
And we also got comments from the Piscataquag River Advisory Board there too, and they just asked for a few notes on the plans too. There were three or four.
Yeah, they asked for notes about the drainage
They
to
wanted the
be
Jeep.
wildlife friendly or something.
Yeah, they wanted the jute matting to be wildlife, yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yes, use wildlife friendly erosion control materials.
Do we want to talk about the waiver?
What are wildlife-friendly erosion materials?
I've learned over the last 3 weeks or so that the certain snakes and the turtle don't get stuck in it. So it's just the mesh is different, it's on the slopes there and allows them to get up and down the slopes instead of, I guess, getting tangled in it.
And is that mesh biodegradable?
I don't have that answer. I don't know for a fact. I would assume it probably is, because most of that stuff is all now that we put on those slopes, because we don't pull it back off.
I know that as a surveyor, speaking as a surveyor, looking for rebars and things on slopes, those little clips they put in to hold them in
Those laugh.
drive surveyors crazy with a metal detector. And you keep pulling out all these clips, there's nothing underneath them except for the clip. Pulled out a lot of clips, and there's no mesh underneath it anymore. Where's is there any drainage gonna go towards that retaining wall other than rainfall drainage off the slope?
No,
None of
this
the
is all
pavement-
sloped this way to come down, so it's just what's on the, the actual grass, yes, but that should go on
Yes.
the ground at that location.
Oh, yeah,
It's
I
only
see the
about 8
spot
feet.
right now. I didn't see the spot elevation, okay. I didn't see that 631-35 there. And the 631-37. Are you gonna put anything along top of that slope so people don't drive down over it?
They talked about guardrail in one of the comments here, so we're gonna take a look at that. I think in that location there, probably just on the corner is probably reasonable there. But that was one of the things Meridian came up, and we're gonna take a look at those. So if it meets the 3-to-1, which I think it does, we'll put it up there.
Part of it's flat, it's just,
Just that corner, yeah, it's just a short section.
Are you reasonably certain you'll have enough extra material to make that 4-foot-high berm in the front? That's not an issue.
Doesn't
You're not gonna
appear-
run out of
Right now, we got
material.
Leighton White's go running some numbers, and he was happy that I had a place to put some of the fill.
a big hump back here you gotta take out.
Yep.
Sorry, I meant to say Neville. I just got all my guys confused here. I've been talking to Neville on the phone.
What's everybody think about the waiver?
I was gonna make a motion to
Okay,
I'll second it.
accept the waiver, approve the waiver.
so Bruce made a motion to accept the waiver for subsections B, E, F, G, J, and N.
And I
And
second
Jack
it.
seconded it, okay. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained? What about the sign? You do anything with
Signs
the sign?
existing, staying as it is.
Not
No.
gonna change it at all? Did you bring a copy of the maintenance, whatever maintenance agreement is for the driveway?
No, there is nothing in place for that. They kind of take care of themselves there, so that's something that there was no agreement that's set up there. That was correct, right? Why don't you speak?
Do you know of an agreement
What do you mean? What do you
to
mean?
maintain the common driveway? I don't have anything in writing
No,
concerning an agreement to maintain the common driveway for snow and
no, we just plow our driveway and, you know, we have four-wheel drive, and we can get up to 114.
I mean, obviously, we don't plow to our site, we don't get customers.
No, I'm just, your
If we
note,
don't
your,
plow to our site, nobody can get into our site. It'd be kind of dumb for us not to have access to our.
you have a note saying existing common drive and utility easement for maps, lot 14 and 14-1 over the existing access drive, and the existing utility poles with associated maintenance provisions, see plan 33379. So I assume 33379 says something about,
It says the exact same note that Mike put on back then, but there's no paperwork.
Subject to common drive and utility easement,
Well, easements is not a maintenance agreement.
subject to common drive and utility easement, because that's in the deed.
No, but That's not a maintenance agreement.
it's not
No,
ma-
no, I'm saying,
Okay.
the idea of a common driveway is in the.
Yes.
but there's nothing in there about an easement. It just says subject to an easement.
You're gonna ask the butters?
I'd like to put a note on this plan to kind of clean this up, because again, I went back to those old plans, nothing, it just says, the owner of this self-storage facility shall maintain the driveway to the facility. I'd recommend that as a note 36 on the
Well,
plan.
So-
well, the reason I'm bringing it up is I know the butters, can't remember any, I'm terrible with names also, by the way. She mentioned in the site walk, that she was concerned about the driveway getting torn up during construction and et cetera. And I mentioned at the time then, I don't think you guys can be in business with a ripped up driveway, because nobody's gonna wanna come in a messy driveway. But there should be some kind of maintenance agreement between you two. And
Who's doing it there?
if we're gonna do it, this is a good time to do it.
I'm sure John will leave it better than it was.
Wouldn't, I mean, it's not a huge thing. If everybody-
Right, to me, that's why I think a note on the plan that says, the owner of Alpha Self Storage shall be responsible for the maintenance of the driveway to the facility, and keeping it in shape that is passable and.
Well, yeah, okay, then keeping it in shape and passable does not necessarily mean it's in the shape it is today.
No, I mean, listen, we're getting prices right now to put overlays on this and fix it, so this is not something Kevin is really wants to, we're not trying to circumvent it here. So
No,
whatever
I
you think's the
understand that.
cleanest way on it, there is an agreement in place, so.
How does it work now? Is it,
Last couple of
does,
years.
is it plowed early enough for you guys to get out, or the plowing is always too late, or?
Well, in the past.
They should come up to the podium, if we're good, but we'll get there.
Sorry.
We'll stick with you
Okay.
first. I'm just saying, I think we need to do some kind of agreement, recorded, it's not a big deal.
Yep.
I'm sure you can go online and go to the registry of
Yes,
deeds
I've
and
got copies
find
in the office, that's fine.
hundreds of the ones that have been approved in town.
We do
before.
something similar with the berm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board?
We're gonna need something for the foundation on that wall as part of the building permit process.
What, for the retaining wall?
Yeah, because the wall's over 4 feet high. Isn't that what the requirement is?
It can be added to the building permit of the buildings.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's a wall over 4 feet high like that,
He
with
already
a
has
charge on top, it needs to be,
Note 21 already states the proposed retaining wall to be designed by a structural engineer with plans being submitted to the building department for review and sign off prior to construction.
yeah.
Okay, so that,
Should we have him add something to there about Meridian's comments about the foundation surcharge concern?
I mean, that would be looked at when they design. I mean,
I would hope the structural engineer has enough.
I mean, we don't need the design right now, it's not.
No,
part
I
of,
know what you're
but
saying.
It's part of
I
the
get you.
building permit process, it was,
I mean, the back corner of the building's gonna have 10 feet of
right,
hill on it.
and it's gonna be at 618,
I mean, the building, the finished floor's at 628.5, and
Yeah,
the
so
ground's at 620,
10 feet out of the
618.
ground,
Yeah, you're gonna have a 10-foot high
yeah.
wall. I assume it's gonna be whatever.
Concrete. And it'll have its footing drains and stuff like that.
Does that foundation have to go below the frost line?
That will.
Yeah.
The others,
Yeah, before, yeah.
so it's gonna have to be 14 feet high to get down there.
Any other questions? Let's open up the public. Like, whatever question, come on to the podium, please, ma'am.
Have you addressed all of these?
Hi, I'm Debbie Raymond.
Oh, yeah.
My husband Claude, Raymond is right there. We own the property at 405 North Stark Highway. Alpha Self Storage is bullseye in the middle of our 50 acres of property, consuming 5 acres. So we have like, I'm not going to get into the numbers from the assessing department, but we've had a lot of problems with our 15 abutters. So it might be 48.6, but I'm gonna round it off to 50, just for simplicity reasons. And the first thing I wanna say is I wanna thank you very much for coming out to the walk-around on February 8th at 9 a.m. Because I think you had a better idea on what's going on with our property and what my husband and I have been trying to do since we've been there and since 2011 and bought the golf course at a foreclosure from Bill Weber, who owned that 50 acres, but sold the 5 acres to Alpha Self Storage prior to making the golf course. So again, I want to thank you folks for coming out, so now you have a better idea. You've brought up a lot of interesting things, especially the drainage on that, the only access that we have to the back 40, so to speak, road, with the drainage problem running off from Alpha Self Storage, which would have completely washed out the only road that we have to get to our back 40. We work 1 acre at a time.
Road goes, is
It's
on his land.
just me and my husband.
So they have some
We
sort of
purchased the
right.
property so that we could just live off the land and raise our own animals, which we do.
Ma'am, could you, the thing that I would like to know very simply is this. After all of the discussions you've had with Alpha Storage, are you satisfied with all of the changes that were made, or are there still some issues remaining?
I'm not an engineer, so I really don't have a whole idea what Matt was saying earlier about the cistern or
No,
the-
I'm asking things that affect you. You were very concerned about runoff on your roadway, and that's been solved. You were very concerned about certain plantings, and I want to make sure you're okay with those. You were concerned about the boulders, and I don't remember any other concerns, but they've been, all of the concerns that I remember you having have been addressed here. And the question is, are you satisfied with those, or are you still
No,
at
not-
loggerheads on some issues?
Not necessarily. I contacted 2 or 3 different nurseries about the shrubs that we could put up on the berm, which we estimated is about 50 feet. And also from the right side of the driveway, where the parking lot and the office is supposed to be, that runs down 120 feet, plus or minus, of our property that has no, there will be no things that can protect us from that. So I contacted nurseries today, and I had 2 or 3 different nurseries tell me that we should be able to plant. I chose several trees. One is the North Pole Bovati, I can't pronounce that right, but they recommended for visual on the berm. That's about 50 feet, which is next to my parrot sanctuary, AKA the golf clubhouse. Planting a tree every 5 years.
Yeah, but the view from that area, just the berm itself is almost gonna hide the buildings. So you don't need a tall tree to block the view. The buildings aren't very high. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be looking over top of the buildings mostly. At least if I had to.
But we would still like some vegetation there, because there's deciduous trees on either side of that 50-foot berm that overlook, like, when you're coming down the driveway, the first building on the left. So, then, from the right side of the driveway, where the office and parking lot will be, from where we have our cows in the pasture, that's usually quiet, for the summer, there's 120 feet there that all we would look at is the black chain link fence. So,
They got 9 arborvitae's planted that's gonna shield the office and the first building.
okay, so when I talked,
It's not gonna go the whole way out, the whole way along that 100, I think it's 137.
yeah. And
roughly
why
half
is
of it.
that?
Well, 1, they need it for snow storage, and 2, from where your house and dwellings are, you can't see over there.
From the parrot sanctuary, those arborvitae that they're proposing to plants will shield the building. They start off at 3 or 4 feet, they grow up to 6 or 8 feet according to the plan. So they're not screening the entire 100 feet. They're just screening the area so that visually, from the parrot sanctuary, you will not be able to see the building. The office building will be screened.
They're not trying to screen the whole.
They're not screening
If
it so
you're
you
standing
can't
up
see
there-
the building from the pasture with the cows.
Right, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, but then there's that, another 100 feet, and then there's all that land going to the left where the chain link fence is going to be.
Yes.
That's all gonna be open.
Correct.
So our animals are not used to a whole bunch of, mess and confusion and traffic.
I don't think once it's built, you're gonna have a lot of traffic.
With the new building, you mean?
After the construction's done and they're rented out, I don't think you're gonna see a lot of traffic.
Okay, so I feel that because we're going to be in a whole bunch of disarray for months, that Alpha Self Storage should put the trees down to the tag where the fence is gonna go, on the right-hand side of the driveway. And the quote I got today was that we could put 7-gallon tanks of trees that are like 36 to 42 inches high, both on the berm and down the fence line on the right-hand side of the driveway. They said every 8 feet is not so dense. If you put it every 5 feet, it would be dense coverage, that we don't have to look at that. The 7-gallon trees are $100 each. If we put them every 8 feet, there's not gonna be much density, either on the berm or on the right-hand side of the driveway. If we put 35 trees every 5 feet for dense coverage, then we wouldn't have to look at any of that.
Well, I think that the sequence is off. They aren't gonna be able to put the trees up until the construction's done.
That's fine.
So once the construction's done and the fence is up, the traffic is done. So you're not screening the traffic anymore, because the traffic is gone. And once this thing's built, the traffic is not gonna be a tremendous amount of traffic coming in and out of this place. Self-storage units don't get a lot of traffic. It's not like you're gonna have 50 cars a day coming in here. Won't be nothing like that. So by the time they get constructed and there's nothing left to screen. And I think you're asking to screen a pasture from the use? Is that, I'm not sure I understand completely what you're saying.
Okay, so when you folks came out,
Yes,
you saw where all those beautiful pine trees are that are coming down, and there's gonna be a parking lot and the office building
Yes.
and another whole building put up right there.
yes.
So 8 trees aren't gonna do anything for years.
That's probably true.
And we can still see that from our deck at the
3 to 4
Parrot
feet.
Sanctuary.
They'll be 3 to 4 feet when they go to plant them, according to the plan. And
Yes,
they'll grow to 6 to 8 feet at the mature height,
exactly.
so,
And each tree is $100.
well, these are the ones he's got on the plan, I don't know what the rate is.
Well,
140
I
feet, half
did
is
my
70
research,
feet, so
but if we buy,
10 feet?
22 trees for every 8 feet, it's
Well, that's
not
really-
dense.
That'll give her a
And
screen
then
even though
35
it's fully
trees for every 5 feet on the berm and down to the point of the fence on the right-hand side of the driveway. That's 35 trees, and they grow 10 to 15 inches tall, and they're North Pole abrovites. So I got several quotes. The Agway in Hillsborough was the cheapest one at $100 a tree, but if we bought 22 or 35, they'll give me a 20% discount. In the berm, same thing. I would rather have it every 5 feet than every 8 to 10 feet, just because that's the view from the Parrot Sanctuary and our
6 foot. So you gotta go 6 foot, another 4 foot,
Deck.
10 foot there.
that we sit on once in a while to cook out or have company.
Maturity, 8 feet, 6 feet.
And I am definitely worried about the disruption that we're gonna have to deal with this whole plan. So, in order to be compensated in any way, that right-hand side of the driveway is gonna have pregnant cows out there. They're not used to big machinery. We could lose them. We spend a lot of money in vet bills. It's our farm, it's not commercial. We grow some animals for our own intake and our family and our friends. And behind that, by Dustin Brook, are beaver ponds on Dustin River, Dustin whatever.
Yep, Dustin Brook.
So I'm worried about them and what they do and what's gonna happen with them. I have no idea what a system, I'm not sure what Matt called it, but a cistern?
It's a water tank.
It's a big water tank for fire suppression.
We're buried.
It's buried for fire suppression. So if you have a fire, they have some water right there at hand immediately.
Okay, so where would that be?
It's gonna be buried, you won't even see it.
You won't even see it.
And where's the water gonna come from?
They fill it.
With a truck,
You know, the truck, they come and fill it.
The fire department?
you know.
We
No?
have to fill it, we have to.
They fill it.
They fill it.
The fire department takes over. So we get a water tank that comes from probably Bedford, somewhere comes out, we'll fill up this tank that's underground. And then if there's ever a fire, the fire department comes out, drops their hoses, attaches them to these nozzles, and they can spray down, obviously, your house and anything that's in the area to protect the area. So right now, Northern Ware does not have any systems, that's why they're kind of pushing this on this site here, even though there's no life safety and that kind of stuff. It's really for the abutters and the surrounding area and stuff like that, that they would be able to grab the water from and use it.
And so will the fire department have the code
Oh,
Yes.
that's all.
to get
Yep.
into the
Yes.
gate?
Yeah, they'll have a
Because
knock,
that wasn't there before.
no, they'll have a knock box for it.
There's a note on the plan.
Yep, there is.
Just cut the fence.
And it's my understanding that there's gonna be no, like, overnight parking or anything like that in the parking area where the office is gonna be? With 3 parking spaces, maybe 2, and then 1 for the
Handicap.
handicap?
Right.
There'll be 90 spaces. Nobody's parking there and leaving their car unless it breaks down and they have to call it. No.
But
Just
what,
parking.
but Matt, why, I mean, there's already an office there in the storage facility above,
It's all internal. Once we completely circle the whole site with fencing, I have to have a site outside the fencing that people can pull up. If they don't have a code, they don't actually own anything there. Those are those spaces there, so they don't go on your property, don't affect you. They pull in, nobody's there, they park,
1, 2, 3,
nobody's in the
4,
office,
5.
they get a
Where's
number,
the
he
gate?
probably leaves a number somewhere
It's
they
over here.
can call.
Yeah.
They get back in their car, they come and call him, they then get the codes and go back from there. That's outside the fence, this is a contained site now, so nobody can drive in like they've been doing for the last, 10 years and then just hang out there and party and do whatever they want, the kids have done. This is all contained now, there won't be any of that.
but what happens,
Ma'am,
Well, you've got to direct the questions to us.
okay, so, based on what Matt just said, when the fence goes up and the gate goes up, then all those people who don't have any business there will be coming on our property.
No, they can turn around in those parking spaces.
there's room to turn around there, and there's gonna be lights that come on and off. It's not gonna be like they're gonna be in the dark. If they're there, they're gonna be in the light. They're not gonna wanna be there in the light. Typically.
And you have a row of boulders along the driveway.
But there's still going to be an opening from the driveway into your pasture unless you decide to do something to prevent that opening from being there.
I'm not sure what you're saying, Mr. Kirk.
I don't either.
Why don't you come here?
Is he saying this right?
We're putting boulders across where these come.
Yeah, there's boulders all the way across.
of the driveway?
The right side, yes.
Yeah.
There's boulders
So
all
they
across
won't have
there.
any access.
There will be no opening.
No.
This is Route 114, this is the driveway,
There's gonna be
this is the
boulders-
property.
boulders right
There's
there.
gonna be boulders here. So there's
Yes.
no way that a car, and there are woods here.
Right.
So there's no way a car can come here and the kids drive here to party.
I don't believe so.
Well,
There will be no way for a car to get between the boulders and onto their property, is that correct?
that,
There's a note in the plan that the boulders, listen, they wanted the boulders in certain spots.
Yeah.
So we said, we'll put them where you want them. I'm not gonna sit here and say where she tells me to put them, somebody can't get through, but the idea is that, yes, I mean, I just,
But we need tractor-trailer truck loads of hay.
Well, then you tell them where to put the boulders when the
Put a
time
gate.
comes.
yeah, that's what the
Okay.
agreement is.
that's
But
fine.
remember
I mean-
that if you make room for a tractor trailer to get through the boulders onto your
You got
pasture,
cars.
then kids' cars can go there too.
Right.
Well,
Well, you can't have
Put a
both.
gate.
you can't have it both ways, so you may need to put up a fence, or you may want to put up a gate there,
In between the
so
boulders.
that you can open it for the tractor trailers and close it so that kids can't go in, on your pasture and party. And that's the problem you have now too.
Yeah, we definitely do.
So it's your problem, you have to solve it. It's not Alpha's problem. That's just the nature of the
I
way
mean,
the property is.
The way the plan is right now, they're gonna put a row of boulders up here so a vehicle cannot get from the driveway into your pasture. That's what note 34 says.
Right, but we still have to have room to have trucks turn around.
Well, probably
So, like,
get a gate
Matt
with two
said,
posts in between the boulders.
They can put the boulders where we need them to go.
And you can
Yes.
put a gate in there and they can drive through the gate with the truck. In other words, put it between the boulders and that way, I mean, if they put the boulders up, so vehicles can't get in, you can't get cars in, you sure as heck can't get a tractor trailer in there or a hay truck.
They need to put these.
But that's on either side of the driveway where my parents'
think it's
sanctuary
a tree.
is. So,
I mean, if it's, you know, that
you know,
access, they
I'm
wanna
not
block it.
spending $1 million to have gates put up
No,
when.
gates not, farm gate's not a lot of money.
But whatever it is, it's
Yeah.
gotta be enough, so when it's
Swing gate
mature,
with a
at
couple of
least,
posts.
they're close enough so there's a blockage.
Not a lot of money.
Swing gate like 12 feet?
Yeah, they're not a lot of money. Tractor Supply's got them, I mean,
Yeah, they're $100, but 12 feet's nothing for a tractor trailer. It's not even wide enough.
should be, if he's a good driver.
Well, try it.
I drive trucks, so I know.
Yeah, but
And,
some people don't.
Yeah.
so you might have to have two of them,
Yep.
so it's 24 feet wide.
Well, make it 16 feet with two 8-footers.
There you go.
All right, so how tall would the berm be, on the left-hand side of the driveway?
It's gonna be, what, 6 feet?
4 to 6 feet.
4 to 6 feet.
Okay, so it's about 50 feet long, according to my husband. Where the deciduous trees
Probably.
are as opposed to the,
Shown a little
Yeah.
bit, shown a little wider on the
Yeah,
plans, but yeah,
right.
it's in that range.
about 50 feet?
It's a little, we made it, we showed it longer. So
Okay.
if it's only 50 that's between them, like we talked about on front, I don't talk directly.
Well, you guys can work that out in the agreement.
Yeah.
That's between you two. You got the proposed, yes.
So again, I'd like to understand the cistern.
Well, the cistern, all it is a big septic tank basically full of water, so the fire department can hook up to it and pump water out of it and put out a fire.
And where's that
It's-
gonna be?
we're not sure exactly, but it'll be buried underground. All you'll see is 2 pipes sticking out of the ground, 3
Yeah,
pipes
I've
sticking out
seen
of the
that
ground.
all over town.
Yeah, that's all you'll see.
That's, I say, painted red.
When we do the berm and the planting on the right-hand side of the driveway, we would like Alpha Self Storage to pay to get the site ready to plant the trees. And it's all sand, so there aren't too many trees that survive in the sand to prevent the privacy issues. The berm will probably be okay, I'm not sure, but we live on a sand pit. We had a soil protection index done, and it's all sand. There's nothing that grows there.
Yeah, so
There's plans to
Well-
loam everything that has been planted.
You need to find out from Matt what happens.
it's on the plans.
Well, we're gonna require, like we do in other jobs, we're probably gonna require, we haven't mentioned this to them yet, that the landscaping be bonded for 2 years, so if a tree dies the first year, they gotta replace it. So it's in their best interest to plant them so they're gonna survive, or else they're gonna be buying more trees. So that's what we've done in other jobs in the past, and
That won't happen, it's done.
that should solve that problem.
So is that written anywhere?
Not yet. We've done that in the past, I assumed we would do it here, we just haven't got that far
Okay,
along yet.
that's acceptable. So like I said, the plants, the trees that we would like are called North Pole.
Why do you want a North Pole arborvitae that's only gonna be 8 or 10 feet high? Arborvitaes are typically a fairly narrow tree. Why do you
Well,
want?
I talked to Agway, I talked to, some other companies today, and they said, that they provide the most dense visual effect, so I think that 8 to 10 feet is fine. There are some other trees that I've looked into, including the emerald green and the blue shag white pine.
Oh, yuck.
So the one I would like is the North Pole arborvitaes, because they grow really well. They would come in a 7-gallon pot. They're 36 inches to 42 inches when they deliver them,
I know what you mean,
and they're pretty much fast-growing.
but why wouldn't they use some type of fir or spruce tree that's gonna grow wider,
It's
and
a lot more money,
what is?
spruce trees.
No. Not if you buy them 4 or 5 feet high.
Well, if you give me a number to call, I'll be more than happy to check into it, but I was online today, and I'm not techie, but the ones I thought were the best were the North Pole arborvitaes in the 7-gallon tanks, 36 to 42 inches, $100 each. If I bought either 22
To be
for every
honest-
8 feet,
To be honest, I
Or-
think you get a lot more bang for your buck with a fir tree or a spruce tree. $100 a piece is pretty expensive.
Are they dense?
Yes. I mean, they're gonna grow out. When they
No, no.
yeah, but it takes years.
It's gonna take years for your arborvitae to grow too.
Well, they said they grow like 4, 5, 6 inches a
Oh, yeah.
year,
Yeah,
and they
that's true.
don't
They will
really
too.
care about the soil
Well,
conditions.
Spruce and the fir will grow 6 inches a year. Out here in the sunshine, sure.
I did look into that. So,
Okay. We will have Matt look into it more.
the North Pole arborvitaes versus the
In-
spruce?
Into something else, to see if we can come up with a resolution for you.
What your concern is that when they're fully grown, that you have the densest possible coverage over the widest area, so that it's less likely that you'll see through the trees and the building beyond. I take it that's your concern?
Exactly.
Okay.
And from what I learned today, that the North Pole thing is the best way to go. And that was from at least 2 different nurseries.
Anything else?
So is anything gonna affect the beaver pond, which is part of Dustin Brook?
It shouldn't, because we've got a 25-foot no-cut buffer from the wetland and a 50-foot wetland setback, so they shouldn't be down there at all.
Okay, and we're gonna make sure that, like you said when you came out to visit, and I thank you very much, that there's gonna be a pipe for drainage, so it doesn't
Yep.
wash out the
Yep,
right of
he has
way,
it-
so
he has
that
that in
we
the
can get
plan.
to the back 40.
Yep, that's on the plan.
And then on the left side of the driveway where the fence is gonna be, where our cows are now,
Mhm.
that's a lot of fencing. So my husband and I are gonna plant pine trees there, so we can, lock out that whole, like, I don't know, how many feet is that, Claude? Hundreds,
Quite a-
yeah. From where that drainage ditch goes down,
Oh, it's over here, okay.
I mean, from the
But-
chicken coop down to the stream.
right,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
It's on your property, you can do what you want.
right.
Here's probably
But I
400.
don't wanna have
400,
to,
probably 400 feet.
you know, a 6-foot fence, anybody can jump over that.
I can't.
Let me give you an operation. I'm in healthcare. I'll do it for you.
I got a bad back, I have a bad hip, I can't do it.
Bad knees.
So we'll take care of that, because I mean, the people from Alpha Self Storage, they see a 6-foot fence, there's nothing. I mean, they jump over, they come and feed the cows all kinds of crap, and we have to run them off the property. I don't
I
think a
think-
6-foot fence is,
I have a feeling when there's no fence right now, and all of a sudden there's gonna be a 6-foot fence, I think there's gonna be a little bit of different.
well, I hope so.
It's gonna
I
keep
would
me
hope,
honest.
Otherwise, and it'll be posted, and it is, no trespassing. We have night guard blinkers that the police ask us about that blink to keep predators away. And the police department's asked us what those things are, and I'm not telling them. It's a security method for people that are going into our pond and stealing my ducks and my geese and getting to the cows. It's called night guard.
I think
They're
you
not
could
cheap.
just leave your one cow loose, you wouldn't have that problem, would you?
No, we wouldn't, but then we'd be seriously,
Yeah, I'm serious, I'm joking, yes.
I'm telling you, bulls are not fun, and cows with their babies are very protective.
Thank you.
Anything else?
I just want you to know, again, I'm reiterating, that we're gonna go through a whole lot of summer with all kinds of things that we're not used to hearing.
Yep.
It's gonna be a very disruptive life to us that we never expected would happen. And again, I wanna thank you for coming out and doing the walk around. We wanna work with Kevin and Matt. We just never expected anything like this would happen based on the previous owners.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Matt, doing your engineering stuff.
Well, obviously you need to change something about the boulders on 34. Note 34.
Close the public hearing. Why is that?
Or your agreement has to change to,
Close the public hearing.
oh, I'm sorry. I gotta close the public, oh, anybody else like to speak? Okay, seeing none, I close the public comment. If the boulders are for the purpose of the butter and she wants to turn a truck around in there, you're gonna have to make some room for the truck. That's all.
Yeah, we just left a note that at her direction, I thought we
Yes.
did on the note.
Something about that effect. You got several Meridian comments to work out. I'd like to see the location of the cistern. I'm kind of concerned of where it's gonna be and how it's gonna work.
I guess I would just say, I think we've worked with the abutters and with this board here quite a bit. I mean, approval tonight would really mean a lot conditionally wise. Meridian, I understand it's 3 pages, but I literally just got it, so.
Oh, I understand you just got it. I
Okay.
just got it myself.
As far as the cistern goes, it's still up to the, working on the fire chief, so whatever works best for them too.
The only difference would be if it goes in the building under the basement, like you said. Like I said, when I
Yeah,
met
that'd
with him
be-
yesterday, he was good with that location, and that's where it's going, if it's not in the building.
Yeah, you may ask them about the things to save money with the foundation.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I didn't know that idea, so I would have brought that up yesterday if I'd known that.
I don't know, I think he's got a lot of
Got a lot of little things.
little things to put on there.
There's nothing major, I agree.
When are you meeting with the fire chief again?
March 9th.
Yeah, they get the Board of Fire Awards meeting March 9th, Monday night. You might be able to just
March
give them.
9th, you said?
Yeah, March 9th, it's Monday.
When's our meeting?
The 12th.
Tuesday.
So let's do it on the 12th.
Why don't we just, it would be continue to our next meeting on the 12th? It'll only be a couple of days after the fire ward.
For just the fire, I mean, I'm not changing the land, we're not going back and forth on I think what we've submitted, I believe meets what the board was looking for. I think it meets the intent with the butters to go back on a couple different shrubs here and there, back and forth. Is
Yeah.
that what you're asking me for too? I mean, the cistern thing, fine, if you want to know where the location's gonna be, I can't argue that, but
You got 9 wintergreen
9
arborvitae.
arborvitaes, yep.
They're probably about 10 feet apart, I'm guessing, maybe a little more. Guessing at the scale. Yeah. I'll get rid of my guessing here.
I guess I'm asking the board, is there more that you think we need up in there? Is that what's being asked of us here, or are we good with what we're doing?
About 60 feet, 9 trees. How far is that apart?
6 feet.
60
If it was
feet.
10 feet, if there were 10 of them, it'd be 6. So 9, it's about 12 feet. I mean,
No.
7 feet,
Yeah, 7.
7, okay.
which you said 8 foot was what was stated was looking for up here.
The-
Again, we're not trying to hide anything.
no,
I mean, we're trying to do this right. It's just, you
Agreed.
know,
I understand.
I don't know
When it gets to a
exactly how
point.
many it requires, because it depends upon the shape of the tree at maturity. But there should be a number of trees such that at maturity, there's a visual barrier,
Yep.
a dense visual barrier. And whether it's tree X or tree Y isn't important. The height, 8,
And that's
10
what,
feet.
you're right, the 7 feet is what is the main thing, because we know what they grow to is, about 4 feet around, so that they're all,
Well,
we tried to put our best
If
foot
it's 4
forward
feet
here.
around, that's 2 feet on each side. That means there's a 3-foot gap. Okay? That's the problem.
Well, That's how they tell us, the landscape people, that's the
but
distance
you're-
they tell you to put them in,
But
so they don't die, and now you're
But
gonna
Right,
run
but you're trying to make, what I think is, the objective here is to make a hedge.
Yep.
And maybe it's not trees, maybe it's something else. That's good
Oh,
hedge
these are
stuff.
arborvitaes, these aren't, I mean, this is that Christmas tree looking.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
But they grow generally tall and relatively
Like
narrow.
rockets.
Yeah, like rocket.
So it may not give you the density per foot of width that you get with another tree, which could be less expensive. And still give you the
You
density.
gotta find something that's gonna grow in that turf too. Like they come 3 to 4 feet when you buy them. The plan and the maturity is
That's height.
6 to 8 feet, and it's on top of a 6-foot berm?
No berm that
Oh,
side.
you're not gonna put it on the berm?
Berm's on the
there?
other side,
On the
yeah.
other side of it, okay. But yeah, it says right here, they come at 3 to 4 feet,
Yeah,
That's the height we're talking
height.
width.
and they grow 6 to 8. That doesn't tell you what they're gonna be
they're
around,
not real
so.
wide.
Well, like
No,
a
they are.
Christmas tree?
No, they're not like Christmas trees, they're like rockets. They just kind of grow straight up almost.
Cemetery trees.
I guess what I'm
Oh,
trying to
they got
get
my,
from you guys here tonight, when you say March 12th, the way this review comments came here, even if I submit them tomorrow, I get them back, and it's not gonna be submitted tomorrow, but say they get submitted Tuesday or Wednesday, we're not even gonna have the review back for the 12th, are we? Or can we make sure that
From
we have
Meridian?
that back?
Yes, you will.
Okay.
I think we can make sure of that.
I mean, it sounds like you want a happy letter from them, is what you're saying.
If you go back to Meridian, the reason why the report didn't come in till later is because they were waiting for the check. They wait to actually have the check in hand
Yeah.
before they send it to me. So I don't know if I can have a check to them.
Oh, is there more fee now?
Would there be another fee?
Because their initial fee was to review the drainage. They obviously went through and did the whole plan set, which was fine. I don't have a problem with that, but if they're gonna, if they did that to get more money, that's something, they were asked to just review the drainage, and that was a little,
And then came in less.
Do you submit a request for review when you to Meridian? How does that work?
The next day, I received an estimate.
No, I mean, do you submit a request for them to review a plan?
Yes.
Do you,
And then you send them a check.
did you,
No, they have to send me an estimate first.
yeah, but to get that estimate, you have to tell them what the estimate needs to include, right?
Yeah.
And-
I asked them to review the storm management plan.
More than that.
Yeah, then they asked for the plans.
But that's all you asked them for, was for the
Yes.
stormwater management?
Beyond.
And then they did,
4 pages.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I don't think there should be.
Maybe you need to nail down the request a little bit or something, because,
when they requested the plans, it was to see where, you know,
The grading, the
the
drainage.
grading and the slopes, yeah.
yeah, you can see where the grading ties into the stormwater and all that.
That's why we sent, well, actually, I
Right.
think you sent it.
The last page is, the 50-year storm, those are all
Those are all legitimate,
absolutely,
right,
absolutely should be asked.
right.
I do not ask for a site plan review now, if that's what you're.
Well, that's what they
We
ended
should
up
remind
with.
them.
Well, it's not just the last page. There's,
Oh, I thought that was mostly a drainage.
There was-
section.
Stormwater management is the last page.
oh, they're going in the outlet pipe, they're going into the riprap apron, et cetera, for that, but
Okay, that, yeah, plus.
Erosion, grading.
You
Site plan review.
know, Yeah.
how about a letter to Kelly addressing each one of these items with revised plans? Which I'm sure she can get to the board without a check.
May I speak?
Just a minute. Then we can, I will, not yet.
Address Meridian's report.
Yes, just address their letters, address their letter. Then we can look at that and say, yes, check, 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 check. We can give you the happy
Okay,
ourselves.
that's fair.
But I'd like to see something about, the better didn't mention it, but I'm still, like to see something about the driveway. I know it should be a simple, relatively simple agreement to get.
Maintenance agreement?
Yeah. I know Bill Drescher's reviewed hundreds of them for, well, not hundreds, but many for us, and you can go online and find them recorded.
There's a
and
couple of templates that I have.
Yeah,
You should have some in there. Just include one with the new building permit.
the only issue I would see engineering-wise would be as Meridian pointed out, which you're gonna mention in your letter, of course, is the foundation of that wall being 14 feet high.
Actually, more than 14, because if you look at, that's the high side of the floor, finished floor.
Right.
Is that the ready walk
That's 631, I
No,
think.
that's the
No,
building.
it's the building.
for the building?
The building's gonna be
What is it?
14 feet up.
Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna be a poured concrete, the footing for it.
What did you ask? Nick?
No, isn't it
They wanna make
included in
sure
the
the drain
building
wouldn't
permit
wash out the
thing
wall.
with a maintenance agreement if there has to be a,
It can be,
I thought that was included in that one.
Anyway,
we
you're
just
gonna
did.
for the driveway permit,
Yeah. Well, that's
not
basic.
necessarily a building permit.
Yeah, but
Is the
that's-
construction going to be phased, where he builds a couple buildings this year, and a building next year, and a building the year after that, and a building the year after
It's
that?
gonna be all done in one
All done in one
session.
shot.
Yes.
Shouldn't take long. They don't go up very, doesn't take long to put those out.
And that's gonna be this summer?
Yes.
So you can put it, I didn't see it. Is there a construction schedule on here saying such a thing? I looked and I didn't see it.
It's on this plan now.
That's why I'm asking,
Yeah,
Had to give it-
It's also contingent on financing.
of course. That's one reason I was asking about the phasing. Yeah, for the landscaping. We did the same thing on, Whitetail.
I did not put a construction.
Conservation
Note 24.
Number 24.
Okay,
Proposed, sheet 2. Proposed dam
Twenty.
improvements are
Page
expected
two.
to be constructed in April 2020 to October 2021.
We had a year and a half to give them this, we didn't know what the permit, I didn't know what the permitting is gonna
Yeah,
take
it's a long
years.
time.
Give them 2 summers.
The goal would be to get it done in the summertime.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't take long usually to throw those up once you get started.
But if I put 1 year and then something happens this summer, or this got extended a couple more months.
you've got a revised DOT permit, you said?
Yes.
Is
Yeah,
there a
we
note on
submitted
here
that.
about that?
I submitted it to staff and
Yeah,
stuff like
the,
that. I'm not sure if the
original
note's on there, but I can put a note on
Yeah,
it.
put the permit number on the plan,
Yeah.
please.
Yep.
I would revisit the landscaping just to make sure you know what everybody wants, so.
Okay.
I'm not gonna tell you what kind of tree to put there. You can tell us what kind of tree you propose.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything else?
Do you want him to put down the 2-year?
I just,
That's
So
something
Kevin-
we do or that he
yes.
does?
Yeah, there will be a 2-year bond for a bond amount for the landscaping. Which we required that in Whitetail, so it should be, somebody in your office should be able to get you something about that as well.
See, Mike.
Before we continue anything else, I know that somebody in public wanted to speak again. If you could, please come up to the podium.
Yes, my name is Debbie Raymond. We're the abutters. And I really don't want to hold Kevin up any longer for starting his project. I believe what he tells us he'll do as far as the landscaping goes and the berm and all that. I don't know. I'm just trying to have my trust in him. I had no idea about the cistern and anything like that, and I'm not an engineer, so I really don't understand a whole lot of things that Matt said. I am concerned about the driveway and the condition it will be in, and I thought that the project would be done by, like October of 2020, and then I think you just mentioned till 2021?
That's what the
Like
plan,
a
that's what the
two-year-
plan, that's what the plan says, yes.
Yeah.
So how would that,
Well, according to the RSA's, they actually have 5 years,
to complete a project?
yes. The project, upon approval, they have 5 year vested for 5 years, so they have 5 years. They're saying they're gonna do it in a year and a half,
Or less, yeah.
or less, right? Right. They had to define something, so,
We can't make them do it in a year.
we can't force them to do it faster. It's, state law says they got 5
Right.
years, so.
Right. I just want to stress again that, the things that my family and my farm are going to have to go through.
Yep.
I hope it doesn't take 5 years, because I don't know if I'm going to be here in 5 years. We bought our place to just raise our animals and eat our own food and be quiet. It's unfortunate in one way that Paul Hughes died, because we finally got the riffraff out of there. I'm still not safe with the security fence for Kevin's storage facility. And then everybody, we find people sitting on our deck and feeding our cows and all that other stuff.
I think the 6-foot chain link fence will keep a lot of people from sitting on your deck and feeding your cows. personally.
But the chain link fence is after our deck. Way after. Way after.
No, I mean, okay, yes, people can park in the driveway basically and walk over there, yes.
Yeah,
That's-
and people can just drive up and
That's-
sit on our
so
deck
you
and
put up a no trespassing sign and call the cops.
we've done that.
That's, everybody has that issue then, because I have the same issue on my property.
Yep,
Not sitting on my deck, but,
right. And not feeding your animals that could die
Yeah.
of whatever they're feeding them. But anyway, I don't want to hold up Kevin any longer. I believe that he's going to do the right thing for us with the landscaping, the berm,
okay.
his willingness to give us a code to the gate in case there was a fire. So, I don't want to hold him up any longer than he has to, because I know he's been through a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So you understand where we're going? Okay. So we,
Move to continue to
The 12th?
Thursday, March 12th.
yes,
I'll second.
discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
See you in 2 weeks. Yes. The next item on the agenda is a site plan for Billfire Professional Services LLC, 840 South Stark Avenue.
Oh, it's Dennis.
Yes, Dennis.
Make it easier. Yeah. Now, let's see. Get that rolling. That's all we got. This is a little different than the last one.
I think we have that.
Did you change it? Did you revise it? They have it then. But that's okay.
No, I didn't have mine with me. I got this one. So-
Okay, sorry.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, because the square footage was the issue before.
So we seek to expand the deck.
First, we've got to accept your application
sorry.
is complete. That's okay, understandable.
I don't think I got it in here. I have it in there. Sorry.
So to make sure I understand this correctly, you're proposing a new deck like we talked about 6 months ago or whatever it was, correct?
Correct.
That's, okay. So technically, there is all kind of things we need to waive if we're gonna move forward for topographically and all that kind of thing, which don't have anything to do with the replacing a deck. That's why I'm saying it this way.
He's not just replacing, he's adding new decks.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Replacing the existing and making them
bigger.
bigger, connected and everything else. But still, we don't need a property survey showing the topography of the whole lot and et cetera. It's all in front of the building, between the building and the parking lot, and,
Some of it's already existing.
It's all
just
pretty much
yeah.
level and disturbed now.
Right, he's not,
Not doing any real excavating.
Dennis, on the application, what does it mean to do? There's a whole bunch of to-dos on that checklist.
On the checklist,
Yeah, on the second part.
Hours of operation,
that's Kelly's rating, I think.
Oh,
if changes, yeah.
So I don't think hours of operation were changing or, I don't think there was a list of construction or timetable.
Yeah. If this is approved, Dennis, what is your timetable on getting it done? I know you probably don't want to do it quick so it doesn't interrupt the
quick,
business,
depending on how
but
quickly I can get contractors in there to start the work. Understood, but sooner than later.
sooner, yeah, okay.
what's the decking gonna be made out of, Trex?
It's probably, no, it's gonna be pressure treated.
Is Trex that much more expensive?
Yeah, a lot more, but I didn't even really research that. I mean, the wood that's there now, I don't even think is pressure treated. I think it's KD. on some of them, so.
You know, I've looked at Trex, and it's a lot more expensive to reuse it, to replace the deck with than it is pressure treated.
The ramp is made of,
That's Trex.
Trex.
Yeah. That's a newer addition from
Yeah,
before.
it's handicap entrance.
Yes.
Right, can we approve this?
I'm gonna make a motion, we grant waivers for items 2 through 8 and 13 through 21 on the checklist. Which, 2 through 8 and 13 through 21.
I'll second it.
Discussion? There may be more you want to add in there, but that's ones I'm. All in
What
favor?
what
When
about
at 22?
22?
Because that's not needed to be,
Yeah, 22.
That's an addition.
It doesn't need it either.
it's an addition.
So I had 22.
We can request those in addition to the other. ones.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? I make a motion, we accept the application is complete. I'm on a
Second.
roll. Neil seconded. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
See, that wasn't so hard.
It's easy.
That part's easy.
Yeah. Okay,
Getting the work done's gonna be hard.
we're rebuilding and adding decks. Explain yourself. Explain what you plan on doing here.
So the current decks that are in place are in disrepair. And what we're looking to do is just join all the decks to the furthest, the one that's furthest out. So basically, these are already decks that are in place, and we're just looking to add and just square it off. The front deck will remain, dimensionally will be unchanged. However, we will be replacing the wood and the framing, as well as the 5 fours for the floors. And the purpose of this is to provide an outside dining experience for the owners that are in there currently.
Will there be a fence or barrier where the dotted line is? Where it says existing parking unchanged at the bottom. On top of that is a solid horizontal line,
There will be just a railing.
a railing.
So you're not gonna walk from the parking lot onto the deck, you're gonna walk into the restaurant and.
Correct.
Yeah.
There'll be no exterior access
And
to
will
the deck.
dogs and children be able to go through the railing, or will it be such that
We've got,
the
That-
banister,
that's gotta be-
balustrade?
that's in
gotta
the
meet the
code.
building code.
That's a building code.
That's a building code.
Well, kind of, if it's only 24 inches,
They need a variance.
Yeah, dogs aren't allowed in the restaurant,
Right.
so.
if it's only 24 inches off the ground, it doesn't need a railing at all. It's less than that, I don't, I
How
think
tall will
so.
it be?
Well, no liquor license.
Well, it's
Liquor
the way
license
that the land
requires it.
tapers, the side by the sunroom, that's up quite high, so we are gonna require
Railing.
a railing on the front of the deck. So that's, once again, only interior, you can only access it from the interior.
How high will that railing be in the front part, where B is?
Whatever's required by the
Building
code.
code,
4 feet, 42 inches.
about 32 to 36.
Higher than that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So basically, you're gonna replace decks A, B, C, and D and build
And they had
1, 3, and 4.
1, 3, and 4,
Correct.
yep.
And obviously, all the wood and all the framing will be replaced, so it'll be all new construction on the deck.
Yeah, you're gonna rip out everything.
Right.
Why does this require our approval? Why can't Kelly simply issue a building permit?
Because the square footage of
Over the
1,
square
3, and
footage.
4 is over the limit we have in our site
So
plan
you're adding about
regulations.
570 square feet of deck.
Yeah, because it was over the square footage, that's why.
Thank you.
I remember we had that discussion the first time.
And you're adding 15 seats outside?
Correct, 15 seats outside. There's currently 89 seats inside. As you may know, they had put a pool table in there, so that reduced some of the seating, so they're,
Yeah, they moved it
and this is
upstairs.
seasonal, it's, obviously, people won't be going out there in the wintertime, unlikely.
Doesn't this increase the capacity of the restaurant?
Not at all. It's a 104 seat restaurant, so if you add the 15 seats and the 89 seats that are currently inside the building, that's a total of 104 seats.
And don't you add more seats?
They lost seats.
They've already lost seats with the addition of the pool table in their last renovation. They cut down some of their reception area. So consequently, they have 89 seats in there.
Won't there be more than, you said you're authorized for 104?
104 is what we're.
So that's 15, 25?
So 15 seats, 15 seats outdoors and 89 seats indoors come out to 104.
So you're only going to have 15 seats outside?
Correct.
Isn't the square footage of all these decks, the existing and the new, isn't that much too large for 15 additional people?
I wouldn't think so. The front.
Well, B's only 8 feet wide.
Right.
Yeah, but you can put a table there.
Not and get by it.
Not with any wait staff to get by.
You don't expect to have any tables on B?
No, I wouldn't think we'd be able to fit seats on that part. It'd be basically what is A with the extension and C and D.
C and D.
C and D be most of them, I would think.
Yeah, I would think so.
Right. And I think Kelly mentioned that we're due to have the fire department.
Like the liquor commission.
Yes, I was gonna say, Kelly's little note says the police chief, no concerns, public works, no concerns, conservation, no concerns, assessing says okay, and fire department chief wanted to see a seating plan for an assembly permit.
That's correct, yeah.
What
probably
happens
have
if
to
the
check
next,
with the liquor
what happens if the next owner decides to remove the pool table and put tables in that area?
He's gonna take tables out someplace else.
Right, they're only permitted 104 seats in that
In
restaurant.
and out together?
Yes,
They
total.
get occupancy certificate from the fire chief that they have to hang on the wall with the
And
total
it-
number of seats, that's all they can have.
I always thought that applied to inside. I didn't
No.
realize that applied
Oh,
to
no.
outside.
And it also, where there's a liquor license involved, it also incorporates that, so the liquor commission will look at it also.
An occupant load.
Yeah. Total occupancy load, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody from public like to speak? Seeing no comment, I will close the public comment.
Question?
Yes.
Dennis, last year, I think it was, there was something about your house.
Mhm.
Is anything that is this in any way related to that? Because
Nothing, no,
you
not at all.
withdrew that, or?
I haven't moved forward with that. In fact, I was talking with Kelly here recently. I do plan on going back to the board or checking into that, but that's a completely separate matter.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions? Yes, sure.
Move we approve the application?
Second,
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Good luck.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Need for a building permit. Okay.
Next item on the agenda is a site plan application for Ulster Property Services LLC on property owned by Romar Assisted Services on 400 South Stark Highway. Tax map 109, lot 12 in the industrial district. We had a site walk out there. Remembers there was, these guys were in the back.
Hello, my name is Kieran Rice, I'm from Ulster Property Services. Basically,
Hang on, we gotta accept your application as complete first. It's quite all right. First things first.
Although the accent's good.
do we have a, sorry,
I don't have,
other, okay.
I don't have a copy of it. Here we go.
I might have an extra one, hold on a second.
That's, oh, wait, is it in here with this?
Hey, Jack, I got an extra one.
You got an extra one? I didn't get one, so. that's- No, that's Dennis again.
Oh.
You need one, you don't have one?
No, it wasn't in my packet. I had two of Morley.
Yeah, two what?
Two from Morley up on Mount Dearborn Road.
Oh, I'm sorry. You can use mine if you want.
I'll look over.
You gotta share? No, this one was kinda hard because it's a piece of the site,
What, for
I had
the,
a question.
so it's also,
On this little tax map page here, I guess, probably what is blown up over it. It says, right underneath the 1702 says, "Where Winter Wanderers."
What's
that's
that?
the snowmobile club?
I don't know. I
That's
don't
that part
think
of
it is.
Bovia's.
They're on the other side. Oh, over there on the other side.
where are you?
170.2.
There's a snowmobile track through there.
Oh, it's the trail.
Yeah,
That's what
it's
it
not a
is.
piece of land that the snow
No,
club
it's just
owns.
get an easement for it, that's
No,
all.
but it might be listed as an easement or an.
It's not on the abutters list, that's why I was asking, how come it's shown on here as
They
Where
don't-
Winter
They
Wanderers?
probably don't own it. They don't own it.
No, they probably
No,
just
there's
get an
probably,
easement.
have
Billy
easement for
probably,
the trail, that's fine. But it probably shouldn't be saying Where Winter Wanderers on there if it's
no,
not.
that's probably still part of Bovia's.
No, who owns that?
Bovary,
Probably Bovia.
yeah.
He probably gave an easement to the snowmobile
For the
club.
use of, yeah.
For use, yeah.
Like an annual, they have to do an annual agreement,
Yep,
yeah.
Yeah, if you don't have a question about it, tomorrow morning, call upstairs.
Yeah,
I know what they want.
Yeah, you remember, aren't you? Yeah, I forgot.
I believe 170.2 is 1702 Colby Road LLC, which would be Cold Springs.
Oh,
That's
that
that's the
may
back
be
end.
where Winter Wanderers, where they pulled.
That's where Cold Spring has the gravel.
Trailer in there
Trailer
now.
parking in the back of
Yeah,
the,
well, they just did the site work in there in the building.
yes, they did.
So,
And Where Winter
did they get
Wanderers go.
notified?
Through it.
With this.
Colby Road is up on the butters list, yes. Yep.
May I see that map,
Okay.
Kelly?
Yeah, that's right, I forgot.
Took me a while to figure it out. I've been back there too, recently, very recently I've been back there. Where Winter Wanderers has an easement 30 feet from the property line, 30-foot wide easement around the property.
Yep,
yes,
That's why they're listed probably.
Colby Road did.
and they have their
Right.
trailer in there.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, I forgot that's
It
Colby Road.
was the same abutters list as All Clear.
Yep.
What doesn't make sense
This
to me?
little piece of site there.
Yep.
Yes, the fees have been paid, abutters have been notified. The waivers on
I'm seeing we need waivers 1, 2, 5 through 7, 11, and 12, 16, and 17.
there. 1, 2, 5, 7.
5, 6, 7, sorry, 5 through 7, 11, 12, 16, 17. I'm gonna ask one question before I say anything about that.
What is the X?
X means it's there. I'm gonna say that's the vicinity sketch. Abutting landowners.
Need to get checked off.
These things aren't here.
No, I don't see the soil data, you're right. I just went by the X. There's,
This isn't here. I mean, we got this from Kelly, but that's not his application. He doesn't have any of that stuff.
well, yes, it is.
Physical features, uses,
All abutting landowners is right there.
but look at this. He doesn't have uses, he doesn't have
Oh, no.
lights,
Okay.
parking,
He's not proposing any parking or anything.
Not proposing any
within
lighting.
100 feet.
Oh, well, okay, we'll waive that too.
Which number is that?
I'm not worried about him showing parking within 100 feet. Are you?
I am concerned that there's a whole bunch of activity going on with 100 feet.
Yeah, I was gonna describe it before we get there.
We got a legal thing.
Maybe I better do it right now, huh? I didn't print that email, but Kelly did talk to, or emailed,
Did, yeah. Or maybe I didn't, but yes.
you know you did, because you forwarded it to me.
Yeah, no, I don't
Her-
think I made a copy of it for here though, but.
Contacted town's attorney, and the attorney came back and said, yes, we can approve the site plan for them on this property while this ongoing violation is getting handled.
No, good, that was a question I had.
Yep,
That makes no sense at all.
This use had nothing to do with the
because he's not
violation.
directly or indirectly involved in it.
Well, he is indirectly involved in it, 'cause it's the same
This-
piece of
this
property.
is-
Same piece
is
of property,
one
but he's not
property.
involved in the violations.
Yeah.
He's not involved in violations.
That's right,
Right.
directly or otherwise.
What difference?
That was the first question I had to
Legal.
Kelly. The attorney said, yes, we can do that.
The attorney may have said yes, but I'm suggesting it makes no sense. This fellow's in violation here, and yet he wants to make some money off another piece of his property while he's still in violation? And we're going to condone that?
Well,
Certainly gives no one an incentive to comply with the rules.
If he meets the regulations, we may have to.
No,
No, if he meets the regulations.
but the application is from the person who's in violation. He happens
No.
to be the person who is, no?
He's the applicant.
He's the applicant.
Ulster Properties is the applicant.
But look at the signatures on the,
Property owner has to sign
yes, exactly. Hold
So
on.
he signed off saying that, yes, he's
authorization.
authorization for him to do that.
The property owner is authorizing
Yes.
the use of his property, which is part of his property,
Yes,
the rest of which is not in compliance.
correct.
And we're supposed to think it's good public policy to allow him to do that. I'm sorry, I don't see that. Sure. So,
Well, first we gotta accept the application is complete, and that
Fair
has
enough.
nothing to do with the application being complete.
you're correct on that.
And I do agree the application does not show topo and boundaries, and probably doesn't show a lot of these other things that we need, but for what he's doing, I think the map shows what is necessary for what he's doing. Was this map given to you with the application? Oh, okay.
Yeah, just that little corner up there is his area.
Yeah, but
Which is the
Well,
the
photo
application
copy.
says you have to show the whole lot, not just the area you're doing, so I mean, this map does that.
Yeah, so he's got it covered.
Is this his submission, or is this something you pulled from the files?
No, that was-
Okay, so obviously we have one, we have we have North Arrow Dayton, all that kind of thing. We got abutting landowners, we got a scaled drawing showing boundaries. Sure.
I think you're gonna have to waive 5, if that's what your inclination is. I don't think that,
Natural features?
what natural features does he show?
Got contours,
Yeah, but he doesn't show water.
Written any?
there isn't any water on the site. He's showing something over here, which is not on
Does
the
he have-
lot.
Does he need to show
Showing it on that map.
Showing a zoning line,
marsh, or
that's what this thing is here, I
Down
think.
front.
he does show a stream,
Yeah. That's a,
vegetation,
Doesn't say on here who prepared the plan.
trees and vegetation, topographical features, any other natural features which should be considered in the site design process? For example, is there something, when we walk there, I don't remember what's over here.
All trees.
High ground?
It was all woods. It was about the same level, maybe a couple spots a little higher, but it was pretty much level with the lot.
Yeah, this site was kind of dug out a little bit,
Yeah.
But
It wasn't-
the site's pretty much disturbed, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much trees left.
There were trees along the back border, and men were putting up the temporary
Shed.
shed-like storage or whatever.
I'd like to know,
That part, they scuffed it up to,
Uh,
have the trees all around the rest of it.
Building
so
permit obtained for the building, that plastic thing?
You don't need
You
one.
don't need a building permit for that. ICC doesn't recognize that as a structure.
Oh.
It's something that you can take down if it encroaches any setbacks.
That's not a structure.
No, like those temporary garages you could buy and
That's
put them up,
duct tape garages and
duct tape.
I call them duct tape garages.
I'd like to know who prepared the plan.
I don't know, was that Bob's original plan?
That was Bob's original plan.
Kelly, structure is defined as that which is built or constructed. It says nothing about attached to the land.
ICC,
This is our
the
rules.
International Code Council.
Why do we care about them if we have defined it and made a statement
Well,
about it?
for building codes, how am I gonna,
You can't enforce it.
You don't look at our zoning ordinance when you're granting a
does
building
that say it
permit?
gives a building permit? Does that say building permit is required?
No, it says this is a structure.
Yeah, yeah, it's a definition of a structure, is what you're reading?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that has nothing to do with a building
I don't,
permit.
I'd have to read the building permit ordinance, but technically or normally or consistently, we have not been.
I understand that, but maybe we're wrong.
I don't know, could be.
Well, it's a building that's made with pipe, they put it on the ground, throw tops up over it, and it's temporary. I mean, then you could take it down, people do it. You go around town, you'll see people with them all over for putting their boats in under winter, or car, or...
Building shall mean the structure having a roof and intended for the shelter, housing, or enclosure of person, animal, and chattel. Not only is the structure a building, but a building clearly defines itself to include a structure. The structure does not have to be attached to the ground, and therefore a building does not have to be attached to the ground.
That doesn't say it needs a building permit though either.
Yep.
She's administering the building code.
That doesn't say it needs a building
That's the
permit.
definition of for zoning.
I'll come by and we'll talk about this. Perhaps you can educate me as to what a building is in terms of the building code and requiring a building permit.
I don't know. First, I'm kind of torn on this.
Take that email,
Not because of the email. I'm okay with that.
but no, I'll take it back.
What I'm torn on is the
There's no seal.
accuracy of the site plan. No, I don't need a seal. I don't care about a seal. It doesn't say he did a survey. Doesn't say who did it. The last date on this is 2018. It was started in 2095.
2095?
I mean, 1995, sorry.
1995.
Yeah.
Because I think it was Bob's for all clear.
Yeah.
The contours don't, they stop halfway across the guy's piece he's proposing to work on.
Proposing to put a regular structure in there.
No, all I want to do is just have an overflow to park vehicles.
I understand, you kind of,
You're kind of.
it's not you. You're kind of in a,
You're jumping
Error's
into a
position?
bad situation, to be honest with you.
It's like like the pickups and equipment like the plow blades and stuff like that. And they've done the
So,
trailers with the landscaping equipment.
yep,
so-
I basically swap out the landscaping stuff with the winter stuff, and that's just basically what I was using it for.
Again, I wasn't even sure how it fit into your scope of work definitions. So far as an expansion of All Clear or change of use of All Clear, or I didn't.
There's no association with All Clear, so I mean,
Yes.
I don't, in a way, you know, I see what Neil's saying on one hand, but the other thing is you can't punish him for the sins of somebody else. I mean, if he does everything
It was just after
above
the,
and,
after the site walk, the
Yeah.
board said landscaping should come in for site plan.
That's right.
But I was confused on what type of application because it didn't really fit the scope of review.
yeah, and it's really, it's one of those things.
Isn't this a situation where the owner wants to take his property and use it for another purpose?
I don't even think that box is in the right place, is it, Greg?
It's not the
Well,
owner.
I'm looking
Is it
at this
down there?
again. This line, I believe, is what he's trying to say is this line.
Yes, the copy that you have is.
It's not
clear.
this.
So,
There's a,
no, it's
this
not.
line.
It wouldn't be an expansion of All Clear because he's not associated with it. He's a separate entity altogether. All he's doing is
But that
paying him a
that
fee to
canvas
park
house,
his
is that-
equipment
is that-
there.
I think that's supposed to be this.
Is that the one he just put up last fall?
Storage trailer, storage trailer. Plan's not very clear. This plan's
A
not. This
storage
plan
trailer
is.
you propose, is that a,
Although the property
a
line
box
here
trailer
is
that you
a lot
haul-
It's
different
a-
than
it's a box trailer
that.
I almost parked there.
you park, it's one of those, ones you have haul equipment around in and stuff like that? Is that what
No,
it is?
it's a big tractor trailer.
40, okay, regular tractor trailer. I can't remember
One of
from,
those abandoned things, right? Septic trenches?
Yes. Except existing discharge trenches. Abandoned.
There's Roma's, that's theirs. This right here.
Yep. But this property line doesn't look like
No,
this property line. Because this little 50-foot jog is not that. Which probably means this is one of her rights, so it doesn't matter. First, we have to decide if we're gonna grant waivers and if the application is complete. I think we have some conflicting information between, slightly conflicting between this and this, between the two maps given to us.
They're not just a little bit conflicting, they're like,
Well, mostly it's the property lines on the GIS. So whoever did this put this line on, and somebody has this line on. Like Ulster's gonna use this part of the property, as opposed to this part of the property.
what's that little box with the big green arrow is for?
That's the rental area, parking rental area. Don't know why I said rental, parking.
Because, I mean, he's renting this whole back
Yeah, he's
100 feet or whatever, right?
back
Whatever it is.
probably 200 feet. That's 437.
So the agreement that I have with All Clear is for the back 2 acres.
So it's 2 acres.
It's roughly 2 acres is what he said, is what I'm paying for.
Is there any chance you can come up with like a little clearer map of what you, I mean, these two maps don't jive at all.
make a suggestion, maybe we have him come back on the 12th with a clearer delineation of where it's gonna be as far as the map and the print goes. And that might,
Well, Everything he's saying is this should be about 250 feet.
Yep.
So he's probably close on this line,
Yep.
assuming that line. And there's a storage trailer in blue, there's a canvas house in blue, which I assume is a canvas house, it's a portable vinyl storage building.
Yep.
Which, yeah, they were putting up when we were down there for the
Right.
sidewalk, I think.
You got the storage trailer.
Is this the area that's being rented, or is this the area?
This, I believe, is the area.
That other
thing.
box up there, Neil, I don't have any idea what that's, why that's
I
there.
think this box is for parking.
Well, that's where he was probably, that's where, they were pushing up, All Clear was pushing up all that crap.
Yeah, they had some trucks parked over there and things too during our sidewalk. A couple.
These folks.
I think they had one moved over there at the time, but a lot of that stuff was all Clears parked up there, and they were pushing that stuff up and there was a
Oh,
pile
there was
of.
5 or 6 pickup trucks and plows parked
They
back
were
there.
down,
Maybe-
yeah,
maybe
they were
3 or
just down
4.
on the edge of that, where that building, where they were putting that storage building.
That could be. I remember seeing trucks.
Yeah.
Either way, 2 acres, you take 2 acres divided by 350, it's gonna be about 250 feet. Which is about what this line is. I don't know what that relates to here. But this property line in this sketch / GIS is a lot different than the property line on this. And I've done a little bit of surveying in this general area, and as messed up as the deed is, this property, it is shaped something like this. I'm not gonna get into any more than that, the mess that's out here, boundary-wise. If we don't accept the application as complete, we gotta give him exactly what is, why it's not complete and what he has to do to make it complete. We can't just say it's not complete and
Yeah.
walk away. We have to be very specific. And it's about this application, not this property.
Right.
Can I just add something to it? I have
Please.
other commercial premises in Manchester and Bedford. And like, I don't run my business, I just use this for overstorage. It's for my larger equipment and for changing out the winter to summer. And so like, it's not as if there's someone there every day. We come there maybe once a week. It's not as if I'm running my business out of there, I just need it for storage. It's just, I don't have enough storage, I have so many vehicles and tractors and loaders and stuff, I do a lot of snow. So I just need to have somewhere to park this stuff. And if it helps the planning board, I am in the process of talking to Mr. Phillips about purchasing the whole lot. But that's subject to him cleaning it up, that's why it.
If you want to buy,
So, I don't want to buy the headaches, and that's.
No,
why-
I don't want you
and
to.
this is-
Be careful what we say here, guys.
But that's why I need it to be right for me as well. So whatever the board decides, I'll adhere to, but it has to be right for me going forward too.
But he has been doing little by little, cleaning up little by little.
But it's slow.
Yeah, very slow.
has DES come to the property?
We don't need to discuss that
Yeah,
right
yeah, I
now.
don't think that's, should be discussed right now. Again, not lay the sins of someone else upon.
I'm going to suggest I'm gonna make a motion, we waive items 7, 19, 20, and 21.
Let me get that again. 7,
7, 19, 20, and 21.
Seven's elevation view
Yeah.
photograph. 19 is
7's the elevation view of the buildings. There's our
proposed easement.
duct tape garage.
Yeah.
Estimated construction.
17
and
17 is
21.
light, 17 is signs.
Yeah, which is not gonna be anything.
What did I say? Nope, 19, sorry. 19 is location of existing imposed easements, deed restriction and covenants, we don't want to go there. 20 is hours of operation, and 21 is construction timetable.
and that means he has to
That means we're
produce everything else.
Yes.
I'll second that motion.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay, so we've got 3 waivers.
No.
4. 4, can't count. Now, the reason I'm saying we have those waived, we don't need the other ones, is because we show with solid waste disposal.
Hold on, give me the ones that we've just waived.
7, 19, 20, and 21.
Waived, 7. 19, 20, and 21.
Great.
Thank you.
22 on up, or we can ask for those later, they're not needed for acceptance.
Yeah, it's not on there.
Put north on here.
I believe between the 2 plans, I think the information's here.
2's not covered.
2?
Yeah,
The grid arrow, north arrow.
There's no seal.
doesn't need to be a seal, but the guy's name needs to be on there.
But I thought it did say.
Prepared for Romar Assistant Services / Bob Phillips, it says on the
Doesn't say by
application.
whom.
I think we had that discussion the last time. He came in with a plan.
We're gonna have to, have a
No, I don't
tab.
understand.
So,
Didn't have that discussion.
Craig, doesn't he need to get this, using this, doesn't he need to have this prepared so that this is properly put on this? In other words, this is not what the application is for.
I don't know who highlighted that. Kelly has a habit of grabbing highlighters.
But somebody put this line here.
Wait a minute, let me check
There's,
again.
that's not it. Is that the parking?
Does that say Kelly's markup copy?
It looks like it. Doesn't say anything on it.
But I think this might be my highlighted copy. This
Says
is my
it-
highlighted copy.
This has the same highlight on it. Yes,
Okay.
But what are
They
these
might have
lines?
highlighted
that is the building
Those are
setback
building
line.
setbacks.
Okay.
It's right there, building setback line. My guess is this is a parking area. I'm saying guess. And this is the,
Limits of
This
his
this whole
rental
thing
area.
is the area.
correct.
Except he should extend that right to the lot line, not just the,
He doesn't have to,
Setback.
he doesn't have to lease this 35 feet.
yeah, sure, if he's paying for 2.5 acres, it includes that though.
So are you saying the blue dotted line is what he's renting?
Yes, the blue dash line, yes.
I'll highlight it.
I knew that. I'm not saying it's a good plan. I'm saying the information's here if we
It's there.
interpret it correctly. Which will
We're,
get,
we're supposed to,
which will get us accepted, and then we can talk about the whole substance of the whole thing. It's where I'm trying to get to. If we don't accept it, we've got to give specific reasons why we can't accept it.
and let's make sure that he comes out with the plan that complies with the ones that we haven't waived. And that requires number 2, grid and magnetic north arrow, which he has, date of plat, scale, address of designer, engineer, and all other professionals whose seals
There's no
appear
other-
on the plat, signature block for planning board.
NA on the designer engineer does not exist.
What do you mean it does not
There's
exist?
no surveyor engineer involved in this.
He doesn't need a stamp, Neil, but we need to know who made the plan.
And I know we had that information before, when the owner came in before us.
Let's
And he's gotta
assume,
put, and he,
let's assume that Joe Jones made the plan. What, do we need then Joe Jones' seal?
no. There's no need for a seal on something like this.
You're not gonna get my seal on it, even if I did draft it.
Why is that?
No, I can't comment on that. It's not a survey plan.
It doesn't, we don't require that
We
a
don't-
site
we
plan
don't
be done
require
by
it.
a seal unless it has engineering work on it that needs to be sealed. If this involved a survey, then a surveyor needs to seal it. If it involved drainage calculations, an engineer needs to stamp it. But it doesn't involve any of those. But I'd like to know how he's gonna get to the parking lot.
There's issues. No doubt there's issues.
So it doesn't, I mean, those things are on the checklist, it's not on the I mean, I understand what you're saying, Craig, that you want to approve the application so we can talk about it,
Well, I
but
want to accept the application.
accept the application, you know what I meant.
Yeah, I did, but that was, you scared me a little bit.
we can give him a list of what he needs to get on there so we can accept it.
Okay.
Right?
We'll do it Neil's way. Do we have a number one? Name of project.
I think so.
Or identifying title. Names and address of owner record, property identification numbers.
Yep.
We have number one.
Yep.
Check. Do we have a grid arrow? Grid magnetic north arrow. Data plat, scale appropriate to the scale of development.
Is there scale on here?
Yes, there's a scale bar right there.
You have a north arrow.
We're missing whoever put the plan together.
No, the name and address of the designer / engineer and all other professionals whose seal appears in the plan. There's none of those exist. NA.
There's no designer? Somebody wrote this.
Yeah, he drew it in.
Somebody designed
He
this.
did, he designed it.
Well, his name's not here,
Okay.
It's on the application. with the
but
other
it's
one.
not on the plan.
Name of preparer. 3, we have a vicinity sketch.
Yep.
4.
Abutting landowners.
Wait, the vicinity sketch is, got it.
Abutting landowners.
He's got that other little thing showing abutting landowners, but it missed one.
We do not have it on this plan, right?
Well, he made a little sketch with it,
He's got them on this plan,
But I-
except he has this
but
one
I think
wrong.
he's gotta take where Winter Wanderers off and put that
Cold Springs.
42 Colby Road, whatever it is.
1702 Colby Road.
Yeah,
It says 1702 right on it, doesn't it?
yeah.
Well, that 1702 is the lot number, and that just happens to be the name of the LLC that owns that lot number, yeah.
Good way. That way, you
Kind of
remember it.
Coincidence, yeah. Kind of
It
like
is-
535 South Stark Highway is the mailing address of 535 South Stark Highway LLC. However, he did, while I agree, this name is wrong on the plan we have, we do have an abutters list with the correct name.
So-
Yeah, the butters
And the
notification's
butters
fine.
were notified.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have uses of abutting land within 100 feet of
No, we do
such?
not. We don't have abutting, we don't have physical features, we don't have use within 100 feet. Or topo, or vegetation. Shape, size, height, location, and use of existing and proposed structures located on the site.
Did you waive 5? You
No.
waived 7.
I waive 7.
Okay.
Shape, size, height, location, and use of existing and proposed structures located on the site.
There isn't any
Good
existing.
sizes, just needs to put the heights on there or something, right?
What, the temporary building?
He's got the buildings and the locations.
He doesn't have the height.
Which build,
Any of them on the site, that means a whole lot.
the whole thing, even all clears?
Yeah. That's the site,
Yeah.
that's the lot it's on.
We waived the elevation view.
He needs to measure how tall the buildings are.
Number 8, name, location, and width of any existing and proposed roads on the property. There aren't any.
There's no roads, correct.
No existing, no proposed. NA. 9, location and existing and proposed sidewalks, driveways, curb cuts, site distance at the access points, changes of existing streets. Most of that is NA. It does show existing driveway is shown on here.
But he should show a little spur coming off going to his parking lot.
Well, that's number 10, isn't it?
No, that's 9.
No, it's not. Existing and proposed sidewalk, oh yeah, existing proposed driveways, yes. Proposed driveway. Vehicular and pedestrian circulation shall be shown. I thought it was. I guess
Doesn't he
it-
need to
I
show-
guess it's not shown on the expansion proposed drive, basically. Location, layout, and total number of parking spaces, loading and other similar facilities associated with the use, including off-site parking, if any. I think we have it.
I think we're all set with that, because
Okay.
there's There's no use there, he's just showing an undesignated parking area, parking his equipment.
Location, type, nature of all existing proposed exterior lighting, including direction, arrow, illumination.
You have power out there? No lights.
There's one motion detected light right there, and one right there.
Yeah, but that's all, please.
So that's okay?
13, size and location of all existing proposed water wells, septic systems, or culverts. There's a lot of them.
And they're on there.
They show.
They're on there. Location, type, existing waste disposal system, or location and type of proposed wastewater
And that's
disposal system with outline of 4K areas reserved for leach fields with any new system location of test. I think we got that one covered too. Location of any existing on-site well, showing the appropriate well radius and within 100 feet of area to be developed.
He shows a monitor
He's got a
well here,
monitored well.
but are there others?
Oh, yeah, there's a east one, a south one.
There's a bunch of
north
monitoring
one.
wells.
a bunch of
No,
monitors.
but there are other wells.
Does he have?
A water
does he
well?
have drinking water?
There's no well there.
No, you don't, is there one on the
He's got
lot
water
for
in his
all clear?
building.
He's got water in the garage, so he must have a well someplace.
Must have,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either, but he's got a septic system, he's got a septic system shown here with a leach field, so he must have
Yeah, he's
water
got-
There's a couple
someplace.
of
Oh,
those.
there it is. Never mind, it's in green.
It's in
Okay.
75%, yeah, see the 75 radius?
Yep, we got it. Goes right through the middle of the greenhouse.
Yeah, existing well.
Type and location of solid waste disposal to the up. Location, size, design, illumination, of proposed signs. You proposing any sign?
Nope.
Not applicable. Soil data. I thought I saw a note on here before about soil data.
You should have included that in the waiver.
Note number 3, the total site consists of disturbed Colton loamy sand at 0 to 3% slopes.
Okay.
18's there. The other 3 we waived. So. I make a motion, we have a waiver for part of lot number 1, part of number 1 for the name of repair, part of lot number 5 for use within 100 feet of the property, topo, vegetation, et cetera. Part of number 6 is the height of the structure. Number 8 for the location of proposed driveways. Number 10 for the location of proposed circulation, vehicular circulation.
Proposing another waiver?
Yeah.
I'll second it.
The parts of those waivers, yeah.
For parts of those items, yes. I'm kind of stubborn, guys, can you tell? Discussion.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that information, not necessarily every piece of it, but most of the things that you're asking for waivers for are something that we should have here. We've had a lot of problems with this site. We need something that's exact. We're going to have more problems with this site. Let's not create more problems for ourselves by not getting the information we're supposed to have.
Okay. What does the name of the preparer have to do with that? What does the uses outside 100 feet from the property have to do with that? What does the height of the existing buildings have to do with that? And the proposed drive from here to here
I think
have to do with that?
access is very important for this.
I think it is too, and
Okay.
he's got to revise his easement to get out of here.
Well-
If his agreement is for 2 acres, he can't get to his 2 acres, but that's another story entirely. I'm talking about the application. You're talking about a little piece right there is all he needs. 10 foot,
Yes,
10
he's,
foot.
whatever it is, he's missing it, and that's important. You said so yourself 2 minutes ago. There's no circulation here.
That's why I proposed a waiver.
So why not just waive everything and approve it immediately?
I never went to the second part of that. I never got there, Neil. I was asking for a waiver. They're requesting a waiver. I got a second. So the options are, we approve the waiver, or else we deem the application incomplete for those 1, 2, whatever items those are. So any more discussion?
If we grant them the waivers, then we can't ask them to change the plan to add those on, can we?
Sure we can. I can revise my waiver.
If you've accepted the application as complete,
I'll revise my waiver.
Except if it's complete. Just ask for the
Let me
waiver.
think about this a little bit. All I'm worried about is the access, right? Let me withdraw my waiver. Will you withdraw your second, please? Okay. I'm gonna make another waiver.
Another motion.
Another motion. Yes. Motion to waive the name of the repair, part of item 1, name of repair, part of item 5 for the use within 100 feet, the topo, the vegetation, natural features, et cetera. Part of number 6 for the height of the building, and temporarily part of 9 and 10, meaning the proposed driveway and proposed circulation. Temporarily meaning to accept the application, however, this will have to be addressed during the hearing process.
Second it.
Discussion.
I'm not going to support this. I think you're.
I'm trying to get one way, either one way that if we deny the motion, that's fine. We can do that.
Then he needs to come, let's make sure this is done according to Hoyle.
Well, he's just granting the waiver, so. With the
We've had
proviso.
we've had enough trouble with this applicant. I don't mean this one. I mean
Well,
the true applicant.
I don't think we can,
The owner and applicant are different here.
yeah, and I don't think we
But the-
can
This is not.
bestow the sins of
what-
the other
you're talking
person
the
on
applicant
him.
here, he's not the owner.
He's the applicant,
The,
and he has nothing to do with the other, so I don't think we can penalize him for that, because that'll open up a can of, for the other guy's sins, we can't penalize this gentleman for that.
can we discuss this now or not?
I don't think, if we're talking about this application right now, and the motion, and the motion we have on the table. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Uh, Opposed, no.
Oh,
I'm not in
okay.
favor.
Yeah, me either, no.
So it's tied.
So the motion failed.
No, it's deadlocked.
It failed. We didn't get a majority.
Then it did fail.
Failed.
Who voted no beside me?
Me.
And you proposed a waiver.
I'm trying to move this thing along. We can sit here and talk about it for 5 more hours if we want to. Okay, motion failed, 2-2. Therefore, I believe we can honestly say that your application is deemed incomplete for the following reasons. Number 1, we don't have a name of the person who prepared the plan. Number 2, the drawing does not show the use within 100 feet of the property. Per checklist item number 5. It does not show the shape, the height of the building per checklist item number 6. It does not show the proposed driveway per checklist item number 9, nor does it show the vehicular circulation per checklist item number 10. Is that what the board is saying?
Yes, and also, in some way, I don't know if that was included, whatever area it is that is being proposed for the applicant needs to be delineated more clearly because of the conflict between the two documents we have. Is that covered by one of the things that you mentioned?
No.
Well, but we have two different versions of what is being applied for.
In addition, the inconsistencies between the map that's called revised site plan Route 114, tax map 109, lot 12, prepared for Romar Assisted Services, Inc. / Robert Phillips. And the copy of the, I assume this is the copy of the Ware GIS blown up,
Yep.
need to be more consistent. In saying that, I'm gonna add that I know the boundary lines in the Ware GIS are incorrect.
So,
I'm a surveyor, and
so
I'm a surveyor, and I've done a lot of work
What was that
over
one?
here and over here.
So basically, I have to, are you saying that I need to go get a surveyor to come out to show where I'm gonna park this stuff? It's just, as the expenses roll on here, like, I feel as if one of the board members said, like, you're crucifying me for somebody else's problems. And so monetarily, it's gonna hurt me if I have to jump through all these different hoops. Do I need to go get legal representation and everything else? I'm not sure. I just want to park 10 vehicles there, and I think I'm been made to,
You're gonna get a check, it's gonna be in the minutes itemized, what you're gonna need to add. And if you add them to this plan right here, The big one?
But the thing is that part of that there hasn't been cleaned up, and then am I
No.
responsible?
We're not- we're not
is what
saying
the
you have to.
gentleman
No, we're not
said.
talking about that.
We're not saying you have to.
Okay, I'm gonna go in his favor a little bit. He's saying he needs to hire somebody to show the topography 100 feet away from the property line, and he will have to do that. To show the use 100 feet from the property line, he will have to hire somebody to do that.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. But the board didn't want to waive it. To go 100 feet from the property, at this scale, you're talking safely stored buildings. You need to show them.
So he's not, he's gonna do 100 feet from the property, which means,
He's got to hire somebody.
yep.
Which item is that? Number 4?
5.
4. I
Five.
think.
Landowners' physical features, uses abutting within 100 feet of such.
It's 4 on my
Four, I'm
checklist.
sorry. Physical features and uses within 100 feet.
I'll move to waive that.
4 and 5. Which ones, 4 and 5?
No, 4. That's within 100 feet.
You wanna do 5 too? Or you wanna have them do the scale?
No?
That's all set, that's on there.
It's on there, scale
Yeah.
drawing's on there,
Yeah.
okay, so we're all
We
set.
just need 4.
You sure?
The information that's in 4, I don't think is going to be relevant to our decision, unless you know something that I don't.
He said that if we don't give him the waiver, he's gotta,
If the information is required, then he's going to have to bear the expense. But if the information isn't necessary, then let's not have him bear the expense.
In my opinion, the only thing that needs to really be fixed is the access and the map showing what's being, I assume the word is leased.
So then you'll second the motion.
well,
So
you,
4 and
waive-
6, we
waiver
can do
for
waivers
four.
on 4 and 6.
yep.
What's 6?
I'll go for part of 1, I'll go for 4, I'll go for 5, I'll go for 6, I'll go for,
5
that's all
is
clear
no
on
way.
that.
He needs 5.
He doesn't have any topo or vegetation up in here.
Okay, so 4, 5, and 6.
1, 4, 5, 6. I'll go in favor of it, and I will vote yes.
1, so I have 1.
1, 4, 5, and 6.
Okay,
I'll make a motion, we grant the waiver for checklist items 1, 4, 5, and 6.
Second.
Including the
2,
name?
4, 5, and 6.
2, 4, 5, and 6.
With the caveat that the name of the plan preparer will be put on there.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, that motion passed 3-1. So we need proposed driveway and proposed traffic circulation. And it would be really nice to have the leased area
A little better defined.
more well-defined on both maps. And agree on both maps. I think you can do that by yourself.
On the lease, it just says lease for parking, it doesn't specify, he basically just said, you have the back area. That's-
I thought you said 2 acres.
Yes, but he says you'll have the use of about 2 acres. So that, so like, I can't say to you, it's this part or this part, because he never specified. And the other thing is the gentleman said, there's rubbish everywhere, and I don't want to be responsible. So wherever I am, I'm keeping it clean and tidy.
Yeah. Measure out the area you think you're gonna pay for and just kinda mark, and put it on the drawing.
Yeah, but the hard part is, usually when I walked it, there's stuff everywhere, so like, so the thing is that legally, if I turn around and I put on that map and say, this is the exact area, and you come out then, and there's all clear rubbish blowing all over the place, who are you gonna blame?
Yeah. Just mark the area you're gonna be, just mark it on the map, whether it's the whole area or not, just the area you're gonna particularly be concerned with. And
We've had
that's
some
that.
problems with this property, and so
I
we're
think to
very
protect- I-
concerned that whatever it is you're doing is very clearly marked here, and we know exactly who is responsible for what area.
I think as you just stated, you need to have it defined to protect yourself.
Even
Just
in,
saying you got 2 acres and all of a sudden you find there are septic tanks in your 2 acres, you could be responsible for them.
But
think-
as a renter, how would I be responsible for
I-
them?
I'm just saying you could be, I'm not saying you are.
Yeah.
But legal, from a legal standpoint, the
don't know.
landlord's responsible for what was pre-existing before I moved onto the property. I have no responsibility for, you know what I mean, if that was I'm giving an example, if they manufactured, you know what I mean, something there 200 years ago, you know what I mean, and I have nothing to do with that, basically.
That may be your position,
maybe.
but we're not sure that I'm not sure that's legally correct.
But
I
in
know
the
there's
function of my business, parking said 5 trailers and 5 trucks there. This is, you know, I think this is exorbitant, you know what I mean, the amount of, you know what I mean. All I basically want to do as, you know, should the landlord not be the one coming to use instead of me?
You may be right, we don't know. We're just saying that that's your problem as to what you're responsible for or not. Consult an attorney to find out what your
think-
liability is.
And at the same time, I think the board needs to know that we're talking about this area, not this area.
Yeah, one just mark a spot.
Yeah, but,
Same
yeah,
time,
but,
you're-
yeah, but since you've been there, the rubbish has slowly but surely moved all the way back, so where am I supposed to go?
Oh, he's moved it all the way back now?
Yeah, because he doesn't, well, so I'm not the police here. You know, I'm not here to police
no,
the
no.
the landlord, so like, basically, I need to know what my rights is and what the town of Weir is doing to protect my interests, as in,
Until we know what your interests are, we can't do anything.
but that's.
And that's why you
I'm-
have to mark it on the plan where it is.
Mark
But
it
that-
exactly on the plan about where you,
But that's what I drew a line on it to basically to show you where I assume that is the area that Bob has spoke about.
I'd get Bob to put something
but-
down in writing and bring it in with you, and then exactly the dimensions and
We're
how
gonna need to
much,
see the lease, Mr. Chairman.
how much you're paying for, so to make sure you're getting what you pay for, is for your protection, but the other thing is the exact square footage area that you're,
And you need to have access to your leased area.
and you gotta have something that says,
Well,
you have a,
It
you
says
could,
on the list that, you know, I have right away to get across.
okay, so, yeah, but it's not marked there, so I mean, we'd
Yeah,
have
but
to
there
have-
is no road, so that's where, like,
Oh.
there is no road.
It shows the road going
Sort
around, that's somewhat what's, if you wanna call it that, but it shows it on
sort
the
of where it
plan,
was.
so it doesn't show,
Yeah, but it's not technically a road, so it's basically a trail. It's just,
it's just,
so and the trail goes on
Driveway.
ahead. There's no definite, there's no
There's a driveway.
there's no physical, you know what I mean, difference between where it stops and what, you can't
Yeah.
tell that all it is dirt.
you have to make a mark that you have the access there, that's the biggest thing, is the plan doesn't show it. So, it looks like you're landlocked, in other words, you got no, right, so we have to have some documentation to show that you have a right of way into there. But if the lease says that
Yep.
that suffices.
I think we need to know what area you're leasing and how you're gonna get there.
Yep.
All it says in the lease is, area to park vehicles, and that's it. It doesn't specify on,
And you have a right of way to get in there.
Yep.
That's what one of the criteria is, that we have to see that part, but.
yep. That's all it says. It doesn't specify, on the lease, what area I have or anything else. It just says, the lease is for me just to be able to park vehicles there.
You might get him to go out there and give you a couple of marks just to show where the area you are, so you're covered, and I'd, if this was me, I would even go get a temporary snow fence or something and put it up around that area to show that this is yours inside of there. Everything on the outside is not, you're not responsible for.
So he doesn't push any more garbage onto
Into
your
your-
property.
yeah.
Yeah, but the stuff's all blowing over.
Well,
Stuff's
that's a different issue, but, I mean, blowing over is one thing, it's him just taking and dumping it someplace, which looks like it has happened in the past. You know, there was piles of stuff pushed up here and there, so, for your protection. And
I think the two big things we're talking about is access and to what?
Yeah.
How big?
How big?
What area?
Roughly the area, if you get him to mark, give you some points, just,
So if I get him to mark on the map and to sign it, to say this is he
measure it
marked
out
it.
to scale,
And the lease needs to reflect that.
yeah.
But then,
The lease
Lease
needs to
doesn't need-
describe the area that you're
No.
renting.
It doesn't. As long, if he shows on a plan and Bob signed it,
Yep.
and the lease is just vague,
signed this?
No, if he does,
if he
You
does,
signed the application.
he signed the application.
the lease doesn't have to be a legally legalese describing meets and bounds, we're not asking
No,
for
no,
that.
I understand that, but
If the lease says he has
needs
a
to
right
refer
to
the
get
area
there
on the
area-
map, Area A, or whatever he's calling it, and
Whatever.
that's the area he's leasing.
Yep.
No, I agree, he doesn't need to have get an engineer, a surveyor out there.
Or a
and-
lawyer.
Or a lawyer to mark it, but it's gotta be on here
Just have it marked, have him mark it, and
and referenced in the lease.
this
I
is the
think we need
reference.
to know exactly what we're talking about.
Yep. And I think that'll
It'd be really great if you put, well,
I think that's the confusing thing.
yeah, and I know these boundaries are wrong.
So he shouldn't even submit that.
Well,
He should just
No,
submit
except
this with the
has-
corrections,
has- Well,
and he can add these details here if he needs to.
that would be best if these details were added here.
That's what I'm saying, lose that
and-
GIS
and
map.
Get rid of this map.
Right.
if it's wrong.
Because I know I've surveyed over here and I've surveyed over here, and I know these boundaries are wrong on this map.
I know not, I'm just a renter.
Oh, I understand. I didn't
Yeah.
expect you would know that.
No.
I don't think 90%, 95% of the people in the town know that. I don't think anybody living there knows that.
So does every person who leases land, and we have to go through the application to park vehicles?
Yeah.
Well, we need to know how they're gonna get there,
Yep.
and we need to know the area that they're working in.
You have an application license before?
Pardon me?
You've had an application?
No. But we should.
From, application from,
From anybody else for parking? That's what he was asking.
no. Oh, yeah, well, I mean, we had somebody come forth to have application before here to park.
Actually, yes, we
Up
did.
at Towns's pit, and they wanted to have a wood processing plant up there.
Safely store parks RVs, we did a site plan.
Yep,
on that.
that's it, and I was just gonna say that.
I'm gonna revise the site plan for
Colby
that.
Road LLC, right next door to you, we did a site plan for the storage in the back end of that.
Yep.
So maybe I
So,
can see what
yes.
they've done on their plan as far as,
Yeah, that's pretty detailed,
That's
you'll
a-
scare them away if you
Yeah,
show
you're
them
gonna scare them
those.
away, those ones.
what was the other one though? Town?
Safely store.
Towns wanted to do one up to, his pit up on, off of Thorndike.
Reservoir,
Reservoir, Thorndike.
Thorndike,
Thorndike?
yeah, that's right near the
That'd
junction
be
of
a good
Reservoir.
example to define the leased area.
Yep.
You could look at that. All right, I'll pull that one out.
Yeah, pull that one out and
I
give
mean,
them
all
a
you need to
good,
do is say
give them a good idea.
150 feet, zip,
Yeah, or 200 feet, whatever.
whatever, and draw a line. That's it.
Just get him to shade it in
Put a line
and
on
sign
it.
it, and just
Yep.
the
And then
correspondence with the lease.
you put this stuff onto there, and show me how you're gonna get a driveway over to it.
And make sure that
That's it.
that lease refers to this area so that you're not going to be held responsible for anything that occurs someplace else on the property.
If I was you, I'd be concerned about that, but
But that leads into the next point is, I'm proposing to buy the whole thing. And that's why I need to know where it's all, why eventually,
Are
what
you
I
going
could
to,
do with it.
are you going to be hiring environmental engineers to give you an indication of what the problems are on the property?
I've already spoke to Meridian Land Services, and they're gonna go in through it for DES and everything else.
It may be something for you to have a discussion with Kelly at some point, outside of this.
there's several companies that specialize in engineering or environmental issues like this. Do a site, no, it's not a site, it's a level one.
You don't have to do a lot, you just need to clear it up a little bit, so we can
Yeah.
understand what's going on.
Yeah, but it's, I don't wanna throw good money off the bat.
Whoever did this though can do it, I mean, I don't know who made that plan, doesn't say on it.
We know Bob made it. It may not say prepared by Bob, but it's prepared by Bob.
But if whoever prepared it can show that stuff on there, that's all we're asking
That's his
for.
plan when he came in and.
He had one that was signed before that somebody.
Brad was Alden Bosch.
Huh?
It was Alden
The
Bosch.
gentleman that wasn't on the.
Yeah, that's right.
Keelan-
That's
Keelan
right. He-
Associates
he
and
passed
Robert
away, so. yeah.
Alden? No, Alden hasn't.
Whoever prepared it once
But it was
Oh,
with,
yeah, there was somebody who had.
It died, yeah, who prepared one of them, it died, so.
Bob Palmer and
Alden.
Keelan Associates.
Yeah,
Keelan's still alive,
That
but,
might be a take-off.
no, it is. It's just to save as and erase the information out of the title block.
that was it, yeah.
That's what I would do. Have him draw a line on here. You're paying him money for the lease, so he can draw a line in here for you and add this information onto this. Yeah, Keelan's still alive. Bob Palmer's passed away.
Yeah.
That's,
So that's just a copy.
yeah, he just erased that out of the drawing. Which, at least he did that. That's good.
Right, exactly.
You didn't misrepresent anything.
Right, he-
That's right, yeah, because I know that was the confusion before.
So who do I put prepared by? Myself? Because I'm the one preparing it?
Either you or Bob Palmer, Bob Palmer. Robert Phillips, whoever drew the plan. If it was me, I would say that, prepared for takeout, Romar, put you in there, Ulster, is that it? Yeah, Ulster Property Services,
Yep.
with your address. New date, 'cause it's not 1998 anymore. Then put it in here, prepared by, almost done.
Bob Phillips.
Yeah, almost done, put down Homer again.
Then I have to notify.
No, you don't need to notify him. He's already notified. And he's not stamping the plan, he's just drawing the plan.
Oh, Roman, I thought you said the other guy.
No, he's dead.
Oh, okay, that's what I was like, oh my God.
That's all you gotta do, and put the information on here from the GIS sketch,
And connect the road.
Yep.
and connect the road.
And make sure the lease refers to both, so that you do have legal access to it.
Yeah. Well, you said he had, at least it has a right of way, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, so,
The lease says right away to the back of the property.
okay.
Works for me.
So do you need that just drawn
Well, I'm
on
gonna give him this with the waiver checklist,
and give him what he needs?
and that way,
Now,
I'll get it ready for you. You can come get it.
am I correct, this is an ongoing violation? That is to say, the property is being used prior to the time the site plan was approved?
I did not, no. they
We
are
were
not-
there and we saw him putting up
And we
the
notified him.
building.
Yes.
We saw his equipment there. We spoke to some of his people there.
Yep.
So this is an ongoing violation.
I
Yes.
did not send Ulster a violation notice, I sent violation notice to Roma.
I appreciate that.
And he got notified to come in and see
And then we
us.
just
Yeah,
copied and called and said, you
Yep.
need to come in for a site plan. But again, it was difficult because I couldn't fit it into your scope of work definition. What they're doing didn't fit scope of work.
Because I just want you to know, I want to do the thing right. I'm,
appreciate that.
I understand you're frustrated too.
yeah, because, I get pieces of the
all you wanna do is-
information and everything else, and I know that it's from tonight, I've realized that, Bob has never said to me there was issues. Bob is basically, Bob doesn't tell me anything, Bob just turns around and rings me and says, that's you. That's basically what I do. So,
Can you have this done in a couple weeks?
Put him on the
March
12th?
12th.
Okay.
Is that a motion you made, Jack?
Yeah, make a motion.
No, we're not continuing, we can, oh,
Continue.
you want to continue so we don't have to notify public again?
Yeah, we haven't done it yet.
Continue it to March 12th.
I'll second that.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay, we just did.
No, we didn't accept it.
No. We're continuing our decision whether to accept the application.
Pending those.
I'm not sure we can either, to be honest with you.
What? Why not?
You can continue it here.
We have 30
here
days.
in the plan.
Well, I think the
Just
question,
30 days to accept the application.
right, we have 30 days, and the application was received on the 5th
Of,
February.
so
So you,
We have
we
30.
can accept the application pending those items.
can continue the
and
discussion
continue.
to accept.
Must we act by
Continue the
March
pro-
5th?
I'll put it that way. What's that?
Must we act on March 5th?
We must accept it.
March 12th.
March, no. You said something about 30
30
days from
days.
February 5th.
Yes,
The
March
application
12th
came
is
in.
after 30 days from February 5th.
yes.
We held a hearing.
We've already held,
You acted on the application, yes.
yes,
You haven't
so we can
accepted it.
continue it
Right.
I think we have to
So-
accept it or deny it in 30 days.
Well,
from today.
from when?
30 days from the date of the application received, you have to act on it.
So we've acted on it.
No, we haven't.
Yes,
Yeah,
you
we did.
We continued it.
But
Yeah.
you acted on the
Application.
application by continuing it, by discussing it, by.
By seeing
voting
there's
on
some
whether-
deficiencies, he had to come
I won't
in.
look it up.
You mean, if you just filed it, we would be in violation?
Right, if nobody showed up and you didn't do
Right.
anything, you can't continue it,
Got it,
and your 30 days is up.
okay.
See you March 12th. Thank you. And she will have a plan for you.
Yes, I'll call you.
Thank you.
We have minutes. We also have a gentleman in the audience. Yes. The gentleman in the audience was kind enough, I can't think of his name other than Reverend. Stockhouse. Stockhouse? Ah, okay. Filled out an application to be on the board. And Kelly put it in the mailbox, and I signed it on Friday, and Naomi has it. The planning board is electing their meeting Monday.
No,
This is,
No, they're meeting the 9th.
the
Oh,
ninth.
the 9th.
this is for alternate?
Yes.
After town voting.
No, the application will come in the ninth, the day before voting, I think. That's when
There,
they,
don't worry. So the selectmen will be hopefully appointing him on the 9th.
on the ninth.
I also signed an application for Miss Courtney to be an alternate.
An alternate? Can she take minutes?
I don't know. It's-
Yes,
Are you sure?
yes,
I
you
don't
can be a
know.
minute taker, yes.
I was desperate for alternates. We were running out of people, and nobody was showing up, and people were breaking their legs, and people were sleeping and everything else. We weren't having people.
Having knee surgery.
Well,
And you know, they had knee replacements and breaking
Yeah,
legs
that's
and
right.
sleeping and all kinds of things. And it was getting kind of hectic here one night. And I asked Courtney if she wanted to be an alternate, and she said yes.
So
that
she's gonna
application-
sit on this side of the table while she's
don't know.
taking minutes on that
Well,
side
no,
of the table?
Only-
Only,
Only if she gets voted in.
She can still sit there as an alternate.
yeah, but she can't do anything unless there's a vacancy, so she's not gonna be sitting on the board.
Well, in the past, when we've had alternates, they've sat at the table, participated in the discussion, but not voted. Now, we don't have to continue that, but that's the way it was when we did have alternates.
And I don't know, as far as having her do two jobs like that, I don't know if that's exactly proper.
Yeah.
The other thing with,
My thought
Well,
was,
it's no difference when
my-
Neil has.
Well, that's a different story, because somebody's filling in to take minutes, not the official minute taker. She's getting paid as a minute
Oh, yeah,
taker
yeah,
here,
yeah.
so at that point, it's,
payment.
yeah, you can't, if she sat here on the board as a minute, as an alternate, she wouldn't get paid to take minutes. You can't have it both ways.
can't have your cake and eat it too.
No.
Let's see, if we were down to two people, and I'm doing this for a reason, Craig and Neil, and we needed a third person, and she came on the board,
Yeah?
then I could take the
Neil
minutes,
takes minutes.
because I'm the secretary.
And she doesn't get paid.
She doesn't get paid.
Yeah, she'd sit on the board and not get paid for the night.
It's the only thing that would be,
But then we'd all have to take her out for pizza or something.
So she's second alternate and the Reverend's the first alternate.
Yep, and whoever else decides to want to do it. Yeah, let's back up my hair on this one.
Are we doing some minutes or something?
no, I'm looking at the planning board bylaws, wherever they are.
see, what I've done
Oh, you read them, what did it say?
on a previous town on a planning board, with two alternates, they kind of alternated.
But,
Yeah, we do
but you
that.
might
Alternate-
not sit on
We
to
never had
vote.
two alternates since I've been chairman. That's what we
A,
did before.
one meeting, and the next time we need one, it'll be alternate B, and then, you know.
Unless you're chosen that particular meeting by the chair.
Yep,
Right.
just fill in the slot, that's right,
Fill
just
in
like
the
they do
slot.
on the zoning board.
That's the same as on the-
But,
But you can sit here and talk about, ask questions, and
Yeah.
talk about, just like we do.
Correct.
You can't make
There-
both.
there's an-
The only,
so
only
I
difference
asked-
is you can't vote, and you can't make a motion.
Right.
Yep.
So I asked Kelly about that legality of being present all the time, not being here. That's why I changed my schedule on Thursday night, so I could be here.
but you don't have to be here as an alternate.
Well,
According to your bylaws, you
Yes.
have to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it says
but,
you attend every meeting, you participate, but you don't vote.
I did.
Alternate members are expected to
case
attend all
of-
regular, special, and annual meetings, public hearings, and joint meeting in your planning board.
In case it's continued and Bruce couldn't be here.
Right, I was gonna say.
Oh,
if they-
then
if they-
he can
He's
step
already-
in.
he's up to speed.
Already heard the first
Yeah.
part,
Right,
so he's not missing
so
out
we're
any.
not spinning our wheels.
Right, so he's up to speed. and he-
The applicant doesn't have to repeat everything again from the first hearing.
It's very rare that we have a full board anyway, so chances are 80% of the time he'll be voting.
Yep, we're sitting.
Well, they can't take
Yeah,
Jack's
because
place.
one of our members
Can't do-
likes
yeah,
to
the ex
work
officio-
machinery on bridges, and the
Yeah,
other one likes
well-
to visit
Jack is special.
his lake home up in Maine.
Yeah, well,
Jack is special, he can't be replaced.
yeah, because the ex officio can't be
cannot
replaced.
Really?
Yep,
Right.
that's,
in the
and
bylaws.
that's by statute.
Statute, right. Jack is special.
He is
Some-
irreplaceable.
Some towns have a alternate ex officio.
That's right.
Right,
They'll have another selectman that'll
Right.
be able to come in.
if you needed it.
So
You're allowed up to 9, right? You're
I don't know,
allowed
you're allowed a
7
lot.
members and 2 alternates.
that makes 7 members in two
I thought we
boards?
only
Yeah.
allowed 5 members.
Five.
No,
Seven?
Five.
is
You're
that
allowed
your
up to
town?
7, yeah.
Is that their town? Did I say 5 in this town?
Yeah, it's
I think
5.
there's a-
5 and
statute.
All I know is I read it, we're supposed to check the bylaws every March, too.
Can we
Yeah,
do the
I think
minutes?
there's-
5 members
Yep.
and up to.
10 till 2? Oh,
more
no.
than 5
Okay.
alternates.
5
Oh,
till
so
10.
10.
Yeah, you got,
I have
I
9.
thought,
I
yeah,
thought it was 9.
I thought it was 9 too, but it's.
Reverend, are you an originalist so that we'll understand completely how you interpret our rules? I mean, with your experience of texts and analyzing texts.
Someone asked me that question in the context of how do you get, it's no different than interpreting scripture.
Yeah, right. Well, we have our holy books and you have yours.
Guidelines.
We do need a grammar expert.
I've heard a lot of different
Okay.
interpretations of scripture, without a doubt about that one.
Are we reviewing minutes or? are
That's
we
why I asked him if he was an originalist.
You wanna do minutes, or you wanna wait till the 12th?
Wait till the 12th.
Let's wait till the 12th. Make a motion, we adjourn.
Bruce seconded, all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Night.
Abstained?
Abstain. I think the chairman should close the